Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for being here. Just want to say sorry for being a bit late. We were having some technical difficulties. Tom is not next to me physically, but he is virtually right next to me. And he is always in spirit next to me. Tom, how you doing?
What's up, guys? Good, man. To be fair, the technical difficulties were on my side. So yeah, guys, sorry. I'll tell you what, it's not easy to set up any kind of studio, by the way. Like, things are constantly going wrong. So, yeah, Arthur, I give you mad props,
turn on,
brother.
The crazy thing is, you'll turn on your computers and all that stuff and then realize things that were working last night aren't
like with the same exact.
Yeah. But that's the reality of it. That's why we always want to, you're always like updating stuff. You want to be early. It's okay. Tom's figuring it out. He's learning. This is a part of the learning curve. I mean, I've gone live and like haven't had audio. I've gone live and talked for like 15 minutes and then realized that it was unlisted. Like there was nobody saw it. So these things, I've done it. Well, welcome guys. It is Monday. It is Monday, December the 22nd. Yesterday was the shortest day and longest night of the year, Tom. Did you know that?
Oh, really?
Yeah, winter solstice. How do you not know that?
Definitely
because
felt like
my wife and I were
definitely felt like a long night.
So my wife and I were talking about this, and we were talking about how like Iranians take this very seriously. Like husbands get their wives jewelry and all this stuff. Now we're not Iranian, we're Armenian, so I don't have to get my wife any jewelry or anything like that. But I was shocked a little bit, and I was thinking, I said to my wife, I said, why? Like it's a Muslim country, and it's not just like a nominal Muslim country. Like this is Iran, right? The Islamic Republic of Iran. And then she looked up a couple of things, and then she said, oh, like because of public pressure, they essentially like legalized the holiday and stuff like that in 2008.
I mean, people have been celebrating it forever.
Yeah, but it's a Zoroastrian thing. That's what like tripped me out. Now it's called
Shabe Yalda. Yeah, and that's why a lot of people, which means Yalda means like the entry or the beginning of like the sun. Anyway.
So it makes sense why it's a Zoroastrian holiday, by the way, because Zoroastrianism has a kind of light dark deity that it's a dualistic religion. Where good and evil are like battling each other. And so it makes sense that you would have this with the sun and the moon and darkness and light and all that stuff. But what it doesn't make sense is for the Muslims to celebrate it. This syncretistic thing. We had a really fascinating discussion about some of that yesterday in the car. And I was like, I wonder whether Iranian Christians celebrate it or not. Because
brother, like Iranian Muslims are not like Muslims in the rest of the world. Like people need to realize that.
Yes,
and I'm not even talking about like they're more the fact that they're more like secular. That's not what I'm even saying. I'm saying even the more religious ones outside of the government are not like they will put a Christmas tree up in their like center. You get what I'm saying?
It's very interesting. Yeah.
It's different. It's that deep-seated, like deep-rooted
Yes. So, hey, we're going to get into our subject today. We're going to be talking.
What's the subject? I have no idea.
It wasn't on my agenda. It wasn't on my agenda to talk about Candace Owens again. But I blame Mike Winger for this. And so, Mike, if you're watching, you might be in the background. I don't know. Drop a comment if you are, Mike, like share it out to your millions of followers. Millions of winglings, I think is what they
or better just join the live and I'll hop off, fix my audio situation while Mike himself can come do this whole thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I have texted Mike Winger. I just asked him a clarifying question about this and whether if he responds in time, I'll read his response. If not, then we'll make sense of this. But I found it to be interesting, and we'll get there. By the way, we'll get there. But we wanted acknowledge our friends that have joined us. Welcome. Hit the like button, guys. There's 24 of you guys in here, but only 14 likes. And 1 dislike. We appreciate the one hater that always shows up and hits the dislike button. Whoever you are, we appreciate you hater. And so, drop a comment, say hello, what's going on. There is an aspect, I don't know if you, yesterday you and I were hanging out a little bit at night, and then on my way home, I was watching a video that the Dizzle himself had made with the Turk apostate prophet. And they were talking about some stuff that's been going crazy in regards to the Islamic Dawa situation. Also, Dawa seems to be imploding. Some guy sold them out, basically. The very, very, very special man right here, Dan Patterson, has joined us. Good guy. All the Australians on here are in here. It's great. So basically, did you know about this? How the Dawa scene is going crazy?
I mean, you told me this yesterday. You
Did I?
kind of brought me up to date.
Yeah. So, folks, if you don't know, if you don't know, there's a rapper that became a Muslim and joined like a bunch of the Dawa guys. And then this guy recently made a video essentially saying all the Dawa guys like behind the scenes are like sleeping with girls and like partying and like doing drugs and all this stuff. And he name dropped them. He's like, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, you know? So it'd be very interesting to see how they try to spin this. As this news gets going, and I'm very sure that David and the rest of the guys that focus on Islam so much will be kind of doubling down on that.
Well, I wonder, like, why is he exposing them? That's kind of weird.
Yeah, it could be. So if I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, I would say he could be exposing them because he genuinely became a Muslim, thought he was joining genuine individuals, and then he saw like how fake they are. And then he's like, dude, screw this. Like, I'm going to expose these guys. They're fake Muslims.
Or he's a plant.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Could be a plant.
How much of Candace Owens have you been listening to recently?
I'm on topic at least.
Yeah. So with all that, we're going to jump around. I've asked Tom if he has any clips. This is pretty late, so he might not. If he's got anything. I don't have anything particular from Candace. So we'll just share what Mike Winger shared. And I like Mike. And I think generally speaking, the Christian world likes Mike Winger. There's an ad playing behind you.
What ad?
On that giant TV.
I don't see an ad.
Okay, now it's gone.
You know, I'm trying to fix that. I'm trying to turn that into a direct monitor.
Yeah.
But it's not as easy as it seems. Is
I
there still an ad playing?
I need to come there and like set a bunch of stuff up for you.
Yeah, seriously. You need to come help me out,
You
man.
can. It's not that difficult. You just need an HDMI cable that runs there. Anywho's. So, let me just say a couple of things about Mike Winger. People respect Mike. People respect Mike's research. This is one of the reasons why folks like Mike Winger so much. They really like Mike and how thorough he is, how kind and gracious he is. But his research is really, really good. Mike spends a lot of time researching subjects. And he's just generally a really good thinker. And so, here's what Mike put up yesterday. And I found this very interesting. Mike Winger says 22 hours ago. This is on his posts it's currently up on his YouTube page. It says, we need the counter cult guys to respond to Candace Owens. That's going to be more effective than treating this like a political spat. She's much more like a cult leader than a political commentator. And I don't think the majority of commentators are equipped to handle cults. The thing is, even after people ditch Candace, they will be much more susceptible to cult-like manipulation as a result of countless hours of listening to her talking. Listening to her and thinking she does have a point there. They'll need to learn how to discern, which they are likely confident they are already know quite well, or they will fall prey to the next propagandist. Now, this is a loaded statement. I messaged, I haven't even looked at the comments here, but Okay, it'd be very interesting. You never question the government narrative. I love stuff like this, which is like, that's not true, man. But this is cult-like behavior right here. The fact that somebody criticizes the person that you respect and love and listen to, and your immediate thing is to attack them. Number one, you don't know whether Mike ever questions the government narrative. He can question it quite a bit, and that's completely fine. But he doesn't necessarily have to question every single thing, right? But this is the sort of ways that these conversations go into, and I've had people even in my comms, look at this, $7,000 to your bank account.
Yeah.
So they're proving Mike's point in the comment section. Folks are proving Mike's point. Tom, do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, it's hard for me, man, because like I've liked Candace Owens a lot, and I don't want to say like I don't like her in the sense that like I think she's beyond repair or whatever. But I there's been a lot of time. So this is what makes it difficult. It's like I don't know if I was talking to you about this or my wife. I sometimes mix you two up in our conversation. I mean, in conversation, in the conversational sense. I tell her, I'm like, remember when I told you? She's like, you never told me that. I'm like, oh crap, that might have been Arthur. It's tough because it's an internal conversation. I feel like within conservatives, that's how I feel. I get what Mike is saying, but I feel like if you're not in the family, like I don't really care about what you think about Candace Owens or any of these guys. It seems like a family discussion.
Yes.
So I want to be careful in-house. Yeah, in-house. So I want to be careful on just throwing out Candace Owens fully. But yeah, man, it does give some cult-ish, as we've discussed previously on this channel about cultish vibes. It does give a little bit of a cultish vibe, meaning that there's no level of evidence or counter evidence that can ever rectify or solve any of the mysteries that she talks about. And that's kind of a moot world I don't want to live in, where
hey, let me push back a little bit on you. Not necessarily push back in regards to what you said, but this will make sense. Quite often you are very harsh on false teachers in the church.
Yes.
And I tend to be the person who's like, they can be saved, but they're wrong. Right? Like, not that I'm soft, but I'm trying to kind of give the benefit of the doubt to the best of my abilities. But you'll both on stream and in person, you'll be like, Benny Hinn, the heretic, false teacher, kind of thing. And like if I were to tell you, look, the conversation about Joel Osteen, let's just say, is an in-house conversation, correct? It's an in-house conversation. It's like, we're not talking about Muslims listening to Joel Osteen. It's Christians.
In the conversation about Joel Osteen is an in-house conversation.
Yeah,
Joel Osteen ain't in-house.
No. Okay. That's what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying.
So the conversation about Joel Osteen, like whether people should listen to Joel or shouldn't listen to Joel, is an in-house conversation. And so, like, you would generally go and say, hey, I don't think Joel's a guy that should be listened to or trusted on, theology and what the Bible teaches and all that stuff. And so I agree with you on this in regards to the conversation with Candace is an in-house conversation, because Candace is within, let's say, the conservative kind of sphere, right?
Yes.
But it's okay to tell people in-house, hey, stop listening to so-and-so because they've kind of lost the plot. They've jumped off the wagon or something like that. And that's the point I'm just trying to make. I'm trying to make a parallel here for you and I to be on the same page, that you can have individuals saying, hey, we think Candace has really lost it.
Yes, I think there should be an openness, like I just said, to criticism. But as far as this is where I tread lightly, is to if you say that it's a cult or she should be treated like a cult leader, then you're essentially saying she's a cult leader. And maybe that is what you're saying. Maybe that is. I haven't heard anything Mike is saying, but I'm very uncomfortable with that because like there's certain look there are certain characteristics a cult leader has that can be
Yes.
very very similar to someone who's sort of leading this like charismatic revolt or things like that, right? But it's not necessarily a cult leader.
Yes.
So it's just like, as someone who's sort of with Candace Owens, who sort of stood firmly on a lot of things I've believed in the past, protecting children in the womb, the LGBTQ stuff. It's like, I don't want to all of a sudden knock her out as like a cult leader, or like literally like leading a cult. So yes, I understand the criticism aspect of it. I think it's totally fair game.
Yes. So
what I mean?
To be fair to what Mike is saying, Mike's kind of call to action is he thinks. Let's go after Mike a little bit here, and be fair to his kind of. Here's what he's saying. This is very interesting what he's saying, by the way, for those that might not have caught it. He's saying, look, we need the counter cult guys to respond to Candace instead of political commentators. And he's saying that'll be more effective. Okay, now, because he's saying she's much more like a cult leader, he's not saying she is a cult leader. She's closer to one in the way she operates. Than a political commentator. And I'm going to try to make some parallels here, okay? But we'll see if we can get anywhere with that. And I don't think the majority of commentators, that's the other thing Mike is saying, is the majority of people who are commenting on this do not understand cults, don't understand cultish behavior, don't understand cultish followers, as a matter of fact. Because I would say the followers are more of the problem. I'm trying to see. Okay, so I'll say it and then maybe I'll qualify it or disagree.
Yeah, go ahead.
Or something. So maybe the way it could be put is that the individuals that are following Candace are more of the problem than Candace is. Okay, because Mike goes on here to talk about. Look, there's people who can ditch Candace, right? Like even after ditching Candace, they're still going to be susceptible to cult-like manipulations as a result of countless hours of listening to her thinking. Because remember, in the last video I tried to point out the incorrect thinking that Candace employs. Just simple logical fallacies, fallacious thinking. Not going into like, conspiratorial thinking about her, which I don't do. Just like, hey, that's not the way you come to a conclusion on a subject. That's incorrect thinking. And then so our audience might be listening to her, and then eventually her audience can leave her for many reasons, by the way. For example, Candace's audience can leave her because they think that she's been compromised.
Yeah.
And which is true. So I've read a number of things from her followers. And there's people who say that she's been compromised. There's people that say that she's been cloned. Think about that.
Her own people. Yeah.
Her own people are saying she's been cloned. Her own people are saying, again, she's been compromised. I mean, she responded to this. She essentially said, you guys are nuts. What are you guys talking about? Like, I can't sit down and have a conversation.
Was it her or her cloned person that said that?
Right, exactly, right? Then that's the conspiratorial thinking. You can't trust anything.
That's how it works. Exactly.
Post meeting with Erica Kirk. Here's the crazy thing, okay? Let me explain how this is going to work.
Kirk is a clone too. I heard that too. She might be a clone and not the one that married Charlie. And then now it's actually two clones having conversation.
Are they also like reptilians?
I don't know.
So here's the thing. Here's the way it's going to work. This is very sad, actually, but it's the sort of world we live in. So Candace goes into a meeting, let's say, comes out, corrected, still believes in some of the stuff, but some things have been clarified, comes out to her audience and says, hey, guys, here's where I was wrong. Here's where I still have questions. Her audience goes crazy. They go like, you've been compromised. You're this, you're that. Okay? Now, in order for her to prove she hasn't been compromised, she's going to have to double down on some of those things.
Yeah.
Maybe even
Exactly.
say like wackier things
Yeah.
so that our audience
We do this
doesn't
too,
go.
but we do this too. Like we do this too when we try to like when something actually happens. We do the same thing in our daily lives. That's the funny part.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like you give
you're
an
right. She is
example.
going to
Can you
try
give
to.
an example?
Well, I was sort of thinking the opposite way. It's like when you feel like someone thinks you're lying about an issue, and then you're actually like not lying about an issue, but then now you have to go overboard and say like, I was actually on this street. I remember there was a bus passing by like while I said this thing.
It's like
And then
the
the
guy
person
who's
was
trying
like,
to prove he's not racist. He's like, I swear I'm not racist. I have a black friend. I have a black friend.
yeah, which I kind of understand on Candace's end, because it's like if now you're accused of like
Yes.
totally like leaving what you were previously, like your previous messaging is, if people are saying you've shifted, it's like then you're gonna try to like just overcorrect on that.
But
Like no, like
that's exactly the cult like stuff, right?
yeah,
So
I get it. No,
when
you're
it
right.
comes to the cultic thinking, it, you can't change your mind. You've like betrayed the foundations. Now, I've been doing some reading today, and I haven't finished this chapter, but I read this very long time ago, and then I picked it back up again because of this subject. Just trying to be reasonable, trying to be rational, trying to be informed on this subject. Now, this book is The Kingdom of the Cults, right? Now, the one I have in my hand is the edited version, which was edited by Ravi Zacharias, but the book's written by Walter Martin. And in this book, I have come to find out, has actually a ever-expanding version of it on the internet where people just keep adding stuff to it. Because cults change and develop and all these things, right? Now, there's a chapter in this book, which is, I think, chapter 3, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, chapter 3. It's called the psychological structure of cultism. Now, I've been going through this, trying to see if there's any parallels I can draw to, not necessarily just specifically to the situation with Candace, but including that. I actually think, just before anybody goes insanely crazy, I actually think that there's a lot of people in churches that have the psychological makeup of a cultist. And I'm across the board, by the way, across the board. Catholic, Orthodox, Protestant, specific evangelicals, where like their pastor can't ever say anything wrong. They get infatuated and clingy to the leadership that they have. Like that's cultish behavior. If you can find yourself disagreeing, or if I don't know, your church changes a position on something that they were wrong about, now they have somehow been infiltrated by Satan.
Yeah.
This is cultic thinking. And these are the parallels I'm trying to draw. And I hope, look, I've been having conversations with people who have been in cults for many years. And so it maybe sometimes it's a little easier for me to see the parallels. And again, the parallels don't have to be really obvious ones. They don't necessarily have to be one-to-one correlations, but there are parallels. And that's very, very important. Okay. And so, yeah, I've been going through this and looking at it. And there's a couple of things that have popped up and I've kind of underlined and stuff. What is it? Let me see. So here's one. And this can go, you'll notice this can go anyway, right? It says, third, almost without exception, all cultic belief systems manifest a type of institutional dogmatism and a pronounced intolerance for any position but their own. Now, the thing here that's very important is the institutional dogmatism that comes in. Like, for example, there's a context here, by the way. He's dealing with 3 major American cults in this chapter. Christian Science, Mormonism, the old LDS Church, and then Jehovah's Witnesses. So he's given an example of the Jehovah's Witnesses and how the Watchtower kind of runs everything. And so, for example, like Charles says, Russell said, it's more important for people and it'd be more beneficial for people spiritually if they were to read his writings than the Bible. Mm-hmm. Think about that, Tom. You and I were talking about something the other day that Candace had mentioned. I think about Allie Beth Stuckey, right?
Yeah,
What did she
that
say?
she said, I'm paraphrasing here, but she said she's sort of always bringing the Bible into issues, something to that extent. Like every time she wants to talk about something, she's like, let's go look at what the Bible says. Like, kind of
Yeah,
saying like she's using the Bible as like her, what she should probably use the Bible as a Christian, like some kind of guide and stuff, which is super weird on Candace's end.
isn't that interesting? So let's backtrack a little bit and think a little bit properly here. This is an apologetics channel. This is a channel that we as Christians are aiming at training other Christians to think properly about all subjects. So if I'm going to be involved in a political discourse, in politics in the United States, you would assume as a Christian, I would want to be biblically informed on the subject. So you would assume that I would quote the Bible and study the Bible on relevant things, relevant subjects. And then I'm quoting scripture to people. Suppose I'm sitting down and talking to other Christians, and I'm like, look, we need to take care of the poor because the Bible has a precedent in regards to taking care of the poor. And then somebody in front of me says, hey man, you quote the Bible too much. I go, what do you mean? I'm supposed to quote the Bible. Our worldview is supposed to be informed by scripture. Of course I should be quoting the Bible. How do you have a problem with me quoting the Bible? Like
Bible thumper.
You could have a problem with me quoting the Bible.
My Bible says so.
If you could argue, that I am misinterpreting or misapplying the biblical text. But you can't just have a problem with me quoting the Bible.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, you as a Christian should rejoice that I'm quoting the Bible. Like, wow, we're trying to be biblical here and stuff like that. Now, Candace says she's Catholic. I don't know what that even means, by the way, specifically for her. I have no idea what that means. I don't know whether that means she just goes to church. I don't know whether that means she finds some kind of solace being in a Catholic church. I don't know whether she's like legitimately committed and a follower of Jesus. I don't know those things. And I'm not going to presume to know those things.
I know, I could tell you.
No, like about her specifically.
I know. I'm kidding. I was being annoying.
No, I know.
Yeah. No, you're right.
And again, you should say, hey, Allie, I don't know, like come up with a Catholic answer to that. Something like, Allie, you're a woman, you shouldn't be taking about the Bible. I don't know, the church magisterium will interpret these things for us. We don't need you to commentate on these things.
Yes. Leave the Bible leave the Bible reading to where it belongs.
Yeah, to the serious
which is to the priests and bishops and all those people. Not
folks
to
tell us how
person.
to do this, right? That's fine. Now the thing is, at least in that sense, I could be like tolerant in the understanding of, well, no, she's like being consistent with. We're not going to trust you randomly jumping on me. You're trying to interpret this stuff when we have authorities that can interpret that for us and all of that. That would make sense. But just to say, like, why do you read the Bible? Why are you trying to justify things with the Bible? Of course you should be doing that.
Like annoying Protestants, right? Like they always just go directly to scripture just to like.
Now, I don't want to make this a Protestant Catholic thing, Tom. I know you have a sneaky suspicion in your heart.
I was pushing you that way, especially anyways, I was going to push you that direction. You're starting to know me very well. You're starting to know me very well.
I'm not going to fall victim to your Protestant, what's the word? Let me see. Supremacy. You're a Protestant supremacist. You're a white Protestant supremacist.
Lies. I can't be a Protestant supremacist. The third person on my YouTube most watched list was Trent Horn.
There you go.
And it's not like Trent Horn is this aggressive figure that I want to listen to just to get angry every day. It's not, I enjoy Trent Horn.
Trent's a very likable.
Yeah, he's a very likable guy.
So yeah, that's very important. So so let's go with like cults. Usually, here's one of the things that cults kind of thrive off of, or cultic personalities. Okay.
Mm.
There's an aspect of the unknown and mystery that is in the hands of a very few or one person.
Yes.
And then they reveal it to the rest. Now that I think there's a really, really good correlation there with Candace. She's the one that sees these things. As a matter of fact, I think she came really, really close with the whole dream stuff she was coming up with. Right? Like I had a dream. I think the dream was like Charlie came to her in her dream or something like that.
Yeah.
And said like I was betrayed. Dude, how do you argue against that? She becomes now, because of her experience, the arbiter of what's actually happened. Now, suppose somebody would respond to her and say, Candace, is it possible, just maybe, the reason why Charlie came into your dream and said these things, because you've been focusing and thinking, what was that?
I was going to say because you took reishi mushrooms at night before you slept.
No, man.
Because that's what I take reishi mushrooms at night. Amazing. They're called reishi mushrooms, REISHI.
Yeah, we're not getting paid for this, by the way. This is not a sponsorship.
No, the reishi is just it's like a mushroom root. It's not like one brand.
And you have weird dreams?
Oh no, like this is proven. Like I'm telling you guys, watch. Have a couple pills of reishi mushrooms, all natural, before you sleep, and you will see insane dreams.
Okay, I hope Tom is not encouraging people in our channel to be on shrooms.
No. This is a natural supplement. It's a mushroom, not the slang name for shroom.
I drink.
God, why are these bad things so close to each other sometimes in name? Where you're like, it's really good. By the way, it really helps you sleep. But anyways, I digress. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So no, forget that. Like I'm trying to come up with a pretty reasonable answer as to why. Like, okay, you've been thinking about Charlie. You've been making videos about Charlie. Mm-hmm. You're investigating all these things. Maybe the reason you had the dream was because you've been thinking about all this stuff. And then your dream confirms what you've been saying. So like that makes complete sense. Right?
I wonder if Charlie showed up in her dream and said like it was just a liberal. It was Robinson that killed me. It was Robinson. Like I wonder if she would share that dream or she'd just be like, there's been a lot on my mind recently. It always seems like the dreams we share are the ones confirming some kind of bias we already have, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, and again, as someone who thinks that God does speak through dreams, that doesn't mean every single dream is from the Lord. We have quacked out weird thoughts and dreams all the time. So there's an aspect of like the leadership or the leaders having this hidden knowledge. Now, again, this goes back to like Gnosticism. Again, let me remind you guys that we're not drawing a one-to-one correlation here. We're saying these are trends that one should be aware of.
Yes.
It's cultish. Okay, it's cultish.
By the way, I have a lot of problems with what you're saying.
Yeah, you can say what your problems are.
No, like I'm saying, I'm agreeing with like within your statements, I'm agreeing with a lot of the stuff you're saying.
Yeah.
But I also have a lot of problems with what you're saying. I think even the premise of like calling her. So here's the thing, like when you look at cults that were mentioned in the book you were reading, right? You look at, let's say things like Mormonism or the Church of Science, Scientology, all that kind of stuff, right? Those are usually very organized, organized organizations, for lack of better words.
Yeah, like they weren't in their beginning.
Yeah, of course. But you're right. But like if you're looking at them now, like they have this like, they have these things set up and they have buildings and they have businesses and they're kind of like these established sort of where it's almost like now you have people debating like, are they a cult? Like how could this legitimate organization like the Mormon Church actually be a cult, right? So you have that. With Candace, I think it's tough because it's also the following. Like, so when I think of a cult or when I think Arthur, when a lot of people think of cults, they don't generally look at like Mormonism, the regular public. I'm not talking about in the Christian discourse. So they'll look at like the guy that had like 50 people at a ranch that like he like convinced to like
Sure,
take
yeah,
pills or something like that, right? Like that's how you kind of envision what a cult is. So like to put Candace in that camp in a certain way. I'm not saying Mike was doing that, but if someone is doing that, and then like to go on her lives and you see like hundreds and thousands of people listening to this stuff and like agreeing,
yeah,
and then for her to say like, look at these people. They're not only calling me a cult leader, but they're somehow saying that hundreds and thousands and millions of people that are listening to these truth statements I made. So I get it. It could, by the way, it could totally be true. But I'm saying it's very easy for her to then turn around and be like, listen, man, like I got a big following. Could it be because I'm saying something legitimate that I have real reasons to say, and not just because like I have these like cultish personalities, like what you mentioned, strong charisma, like conspiracy stuff, us versus them. By the way, that's another one, like us versus them. Like a cultish personalities would always be like as soon as they start getting like pounded a little on like their wacko stuff, like, hey, that can't be true. They'll be now they're coming against us, guys. Now like the enemy has awakened, the matrix is here, and they're gonna like, so it always becomes like time for us to go into battle against like the people that are against us, who, by the way, like a lot of times we don't know who they are.
yeah.
It's just like a group of people.
Yeah, look, I don't think that any one of us are immune from being led astray by cultic personalities. I think if there's one thing that's like modern social media has proven is that it's very easy to fall victim to listening to people. That includes you and that includes me. To listening to people and believing people and following people that are cultish or can create a cultish atmosphere around them. Okay? Like maybe an obvious one to a lot of people would be something like Donald Trump. Okay? There's things that you and I, both of us, would generally, I would say Trump supporters voted for Trump and all that stuff. There's things that you and I will cringe at and say, this is just dumb. Like, what are you guys doing here? Or like Trump will say something where we can question it. But then there's people who like don't see it.
Yes.
And will like double down on it. Like, he's the savior. And it's like, well, relax, stop. Or they'll like paintings and drawings people have produced where we look at it and again, we would wince at, like seriously, like we see that as being problematic.
Yeah, but that's right. If you can't, if internally you disagree with your leader, but you can't voice that opinion, you're probably in some sort of like, I'm not talking about like you're at your corporate job and you're like, like you know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. Like I'm talking about in this sense, not like your boss at work, like you disagree something, but you're like, I can't name it, so like my like company is a cult. Not like that. Just like if there are some really big moral issues, like ethical issues, where you're like, this is probably like really wrong and unethical, and especially in a religious context, like immoral, like anti-God, and then you can't voice those opinions. You probably want to like, like go
just
for the
in case,
exits.
just in case people don't want like rush ahead of themselves. Like, look, I criticize MAGA all the time. I criticize Trump all the time. That's because, again, that's an internal thing. I can do that. But like for those who might be like sitting there saying, "See, told you so." Like, seriously, you guys voted for Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Like, think for 10 seconds that the lengths you were gonna go to out of your hate for Trump to vote for a person who's an absolutely disastrous individual. Yes. Absolutely disastrous individual that would have ruined a lot of people's lives. Okay, if not the nation. Like, you guys fell victim to thinking that Joe Biden was actually in his right state of mind when we were calling out that the guy was just cooked out during the elections when he was hiding in his basement. Because he didn't have the ability to actually dialogue with people. You guys realize they kept him away from having a debate in the elections.
Yeah.
Because the same thing would have happened that happened when he did go into that debate. Just before you kind of get ahead of yourself in regards to like I said, remember, I'm being fair here to all my liberal folks who might be watching this. Everybody is susceptible to being led astray and follow after cultic personalities.
Mm-hmm.
This is why the whole point of what I'm saying is develop rational thinking, good mental habits, know how to discern truth from falsehood. If people are using irrational ways to come to conclusions, call them out. Let me show you something here. This is very interesting. There's a whole conversation going on because Candace mentioned that Jewish people own slaves and X, Y, and Z. Okay, so she put this up. Jewish slave ship owners. And there's a bunch of names. And there's Jews next to it. Except, now it seems like these are names that are being repeated here. So it might not be as many as like Moses Levi is. So this guy owns a bunch of ships, right? He's not multiple people.
Yeah.
And then this one, he's like Moses and Sam Levi. Maybe they're brothers or something like that. And then here Moses. And so notice what I'm doing here, right? Like this looks like a big list, but it actually seems like a lot smaller of a list. Like these guys seem related, right? They might be brothers.
But they own a lot of ships. That list is, I think that's the point.
No, I understand that. But okay, so here's what I did, by the way.
Yeah.
And this might get me in trouble here. Who knows? I wrote, hey, at Grok, did any black people own slaves and were part of the slave trade?
Oh, gosh.
Why did I do this? Because I want people to rationally think about it. Grok gave me an answer, right? So, okay, yes, historically, records show that some free black people in the United States owned slaves, often family for protection or economic gain. Okay, so example, in 1830, 3,776 owned 12,907 slaves.
Jeez, that's more than I would have guessed, honestly.
Now, even if all of these were like black people who were like, hey, we don't want white people mistreating black people, so we're free, we're gonna get into this and essentially not allow our people to be like work within the system.
Can you ask that? I'm very curious.
Well, it mentions that, right? It mentions some of them. It says for often family for protection or economic gain. So whatever the numbers are, I can just give 100% of that there.
Protection of what? Like
protection from white
of
people
the slave
taking
or
them, abusing them. Yeah, protection of the slaves. It's like free people, free black people, protecting the slaves who haven't earned their freedom or whatever.
I read that as like for protection, like they would use the slaves to protect themselves. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that's what it's saying. Okay, so it says in Africa, local leaders and traders. Now, this is different. In Africa, it's a bit different. In Africa, local leaders and traders captured and sold people into the transatlantic slave trade, acting as middleman with Europeans. Resistance also occurred. And then it gives you sources and all that stuff, right? Now, I asked it another question here. I think I asked Grok a question here. Yeah. So over here. African kingdoms and traders captured and sold 12 million people into the transatlantic slave trade to Europeans between 1501 and 1867, acting as key suppliers per Council of Foreign Relations report, so on and so forth, right? And Egypt. Now, why did I do this? I didn't do this because I'm a jerk and I want to say, oh, black people are X, Y, and Z. I did it because I want to expose the faulty thinking. Jewish people owned slaves and benefited from the slave trade. What's the conclusion we're supposed to come to other than some Jewish people did that? What's the conclusion am I supposed to come to by saying African people did this? Or Armenian people did this? Or whomever, white European people did this? Am I supposed to come to the conclusion that all Jewish people are X, Y, and Z? All black people are X, Y, and Z? I mean, that's the definition, right, of thinking with a prejudice. That's the definition of being borderline racist, if not full-on racist. When you take a data point and then you apply it for every single member in that community. Now, I know what Candace is going to say. She's going to say, but the Talmud says, and this and that, and this and that. And then what? Do all Jewish people follow the Talmud? Right? Like these are the sorts of questions when she says we're just asking questions. But you have to ask appropriate questions. You got to ask proper questions if you want to come to proper conclusions. There are such things, folks, if you haven't heard this, listen to me very carefully. There are such things as stupid questions. Don't ask stupid questions. You can't just say, we're just asking questions. Yeah, but like maybe you're asking questions with faulty assumptions. Maybe you're asking questions because you don't know any better. You don't have proper data on your hands. Maybe you're asking questions to reaffirm your bias or something like that. It could be 1,000 things that are happening. We're just asking questions. And coming off, we're trying to present that as though you are, again, intellectually like really there. Like your skepticism is a lot better than the way the rest of us think, because the rest of us don't question anything. That's not true. The rest of us actually question things, lots of things, within their proper context. That's what I'm trying to say. Do you want to question the government? Go ahead and question the government. Question the government properly. There is a way to do it. Trust me, I'm not an individual that goes, well, yeah, like, it's funny because I was going to say something. I remember somebody in my comment section wrote, like, oh, you got your $7,000 in your bank account. And it was just hilarious to me. It's hilarious to me because I think I've been pretty consistently critical of the Israeli government way before October 7th. That's just been my position. My position has been, I think the Israeli government, like any government on the planet, does things that are wrong to the Christian ethic. I don't blindly follow, and it's just hilarious that somebody would leave a comment and tell me that I got $7,000 given to me. It's like, I'm not even big enough for them to give me. I know we just passed that 10,000 subscribers, man. I know we're like, we're there. Like
you're a big shot right now. Big shot.
Huh? Yeah, we're a big shot.
You're a big shot right now.
Even though I tried to go live yesterday when we were doing our caroling, and one person joined, and that was Nick Quint. That's how big shot we are. Even though y'all in the chat are phenomenal right now. Appreciate you guys. Okay. I haven't been really paying much attention to the chat because I've had a lot on my thought to communicate. So let me know. If you have anything good to say. Jerome says, but Arthur, in my primary school, I think that we were told that there are no stupid questions. You know what the awesome thing here is, Jerome? That you're no longer in primary school. I mean, maybe when you were in primary school and when we are in primary school, there aren't any stupid questions, which I still disagree with, by the way. There are, even for little kids. But it's okay when you're small and stupid. That should be given. Like it's absolutely a given. Little kids do dumb, stupid things. Do you agree, Tom?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like, for sure, right? Kids are like, they're kids. It's the whole point. They'll stick their hands in fire and be burned. Said, take the 7K, we'll double down.
Yeah. How do you sign up to get 7K?
I don't know, bro. I guess like there's a mysterious like Jewish thing that like just drops it into your bank account somehow.
Yeah, just if you guys find the website asking for a friend.
Arthur, you're more critical of Israel than a lot on the right, but not to an irrational extent. But as long as you don't hate the Jews, you're getting the 7,000. I mean, there's no way around this, Ivan, is there? This is how conspiratorial thinking works.
By the way, is there actually a 7,000 that's being paid out, or was that just a joke that started? I've never looked into it.
I have no idea.
Oh.
Look, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Would it surprise you, Tom, that the Israeli government would try to find, given the political landscape and how like public opinion about them is changing, would find people, financially back them to say positive things about Israel. Would that be surprising to you?
No, I mean, everyone does this.
Yeah,
Russia does this.
The
Muslims,
Muslims,
this is like China does
the
this.
Muslim Qataris and the Saudis do it.
Yeah,
America does it.
exactly.
I mean, what do you think was happening during the Biden administration when all the like LGBTQ kind of influencers were everywhere in the White House and doing selfies and all this stuff? You think people are just doing that stuff for like free because it's just, I mean, they might be, but they're getting popularity out of it. So they're getting paid anyways.
Yeah, I mean, look, there are counter arguments, which I again, like, it's so difficult for me to start being like anti-Jewish. Like, I like it's like
It's
I
not
always
an
say this.
anti-Jew thing.
No, I
It
know,
has
I know.
nothing to do with anti-Jewishness.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm saying, like, this whole like Jews are just by nature the enemy of the world and enemy of Christians, especially. Like I can never get on board with that. I've never been on board with that. I can never get on board with that. And I know it's kind of it's been overused, but like the person I actually worship was a Jew. Like, so like does that make sense? Like,
yeah, what's the point you're trying to make?
I'm saying I'm separating from like Israel and stuff like that, but like the person I worship is a Jew. So no, I was trying to make this point in order to say like there are counter arguments to what you're saying, though. So I was going to say, like, for me, it's like I don't hate any Jews. I'm not anti-Semitic. I can't even say I'm like anti-Israel or whatever or any of that. But the arguments that others will try to make, Arthur, is that it's not just that they're supporting people by giving them some money or financially. It's that they also are, in certain ways, like dominant in organizations that would then control how that kind of content goes out, right? Yeah. So I'm just giving the counter arguments they make. So if you say something like, I don't know, pick a culture like the Polish have some Polish have people funding people to be pro Poland or whatever, right? I say okay, but then the other guy, the anti-Israeli guy, will be like, okay, but are the Polish like dominant in the media sphere?
Brother,
like, are they dominant?
This is where
you get what I'm saying. I'm just trying to make that.
I know the argument, by the way. I've heard it bazillion times. Turn that TV off behind you, bro. It's only ads playing. Like, get a YouTube Premium account.
I do have it. I just don't want to put it on this TV because my kids watch like
so annoying.
Weird shows on it and stuff.
We watch more ads on that TV than anything else. I'm going to get flagged for like showing ads.
How do you turn this off? Is it off? Oh, that's so funny. I was turning it off, but I was looking at the stream video and I'm like, why isn't it turning off? But it's like lagged off.
Now it's on, by the way.
Oh my God. See, that's what happened. Oh, it's women's basketball. It's guys, it's women's basketball. We probably have more people on the stream watching right now.
Stop. Turn it off.
I did. This is sad. There's no one there. Can we just watch for a few minutes, all of us together, please?
No. Okay, thank you. So, gosh. So, look, I get the arguments. Now, here's a number of things I'm going to say that I don't know whether people, if they're not minorities or they don't think like a genocide surviving culture, maybe they don't understand it. But we as Armenians are a genocide surviving culture. And there's an aspect of us like trying to get ahead and trying to get our people ahead. So stuff like that never happens to us again. Now, the Jewish people have something that is that goes with their history in the sense of like they have the Old Testament. So when you read the Old Testament, there's quite a bit of like togetherness. It's you guys as a unit. So you can say they try to put that into practice. Now, there's been other things that have been added to that. Their rabbinic writings and traditions and stuff like that overemphasize that. Like, for example, let's just say encouraging and funding young Jewish men to become businessmen, or young Jewish women to become businessmen, or to go into law, to like get into politics. Like, things like this happen in the Jewish community, and I take my hat off to them. Now, those who are hating on them, hate on them for whatever reasons. My thing is, right or wrong, by the way, I'm not doing the ethical, like moral judgment here. I can't do that. I'm not doing that right now. I'm just saying, as a culture, they've developed this ability, because they're a survivalistic culture, to encourage one another onto success. For example, if you have a multi-millionaire Jewish guy and he wants to support his people, he'll be like, I'm giving away $2 million to any Jewish college student who wants to go study in this specific field, go become an engineer or something like that, or go into film. And so now you have a lot more support for them to go do those things, because the number of Jews are also smaller. And then so they get, what's it called? The grants, or the, what are they called when you get money?
Yeah, grants.
No, there's another word for like educational purposes. Scholarships, right?
Scholarships.
So you get the grants or the scholarships and you go do that. Now imagine if I became a multi-millionaire and I said, dude, I got like way more money than I need. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put money, let's say I'm going to give away $5 million. And then, but here's the thing I'm going to, stipulations I'm going to put on there. First generation Armenian male studying in the field of whatever, fill in the blank. And then and I support a bunch of people, and then they go and they get into high places, and then they do that as well because somebody supported them. Now they're doing something like that. And then now your culture, your ethnic group is coming into places of influence and power. I'm just saying, if they do that, right or wrong, in regards to the fields they go into and do that, people hate on them for that. And I'm just saying it's a survivalistic mechanism.
Yeah, but
Arthur,
everyone knows that, man. Like, that's not a surprise. Like,
yeah, but they
everyone
hate on
knows
that, Tom. But they hate on that.
No, it's okay. 1 second. Everyone knows that. Like, even people that are super anti-Semitic will say, like, I wish our community was like the Jewish community, taking care of each other, giving each other. Like, somebody once told me, like, if in a Jewish community, if you own, like, let's say a shoe cleaning business, and the guy next to you wants to open a business, you won't open a shoe cleaning business. He'll open something else. So he can send some part of the community support to you, and he can do something else. Where, like, I get, everyone knows that. But I think in order to call out false and like, let's say, cultish behavior and these kind of things, which was what we were trying to do with Candace Owens and stuff, you also have to know your opposition's argument better, like better than we do. And I'm saying that it sounds like we're kind of like not doing that right now, in my opinion. For example, if what people are claiming against Israel, right? Like, they're committing a genocide, they're killing a bunch of innocent kids and babies and stuff like that. And then there's people in the media like, hey, this is wrong, by the way. I'm like, nothing with conspiracy. Like, this is wrong. We disagree with this. This is unethical, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, your government who's doing that is then, let's say, okay, again, I'm trying to play devil's advocate, understand the argument, is then that same government that's doing that is funding other people, like within our country's like media platforms, to then say no, it's not a genocide. Like, you can understand why people are like, that's not, like, it's not about right or wrong,
brother.
Based on what you were saying. I
absolutely understand, and this is what I'm saying, Tom. You and I have an advantage of understanding this, my friend. Yes. We couldn't post in 2020. We couldn't post a word about Armenia without having hundreds of Azeri bots in our Twitter comment section, just like harassing us.
Yeah.
Like random Europeans being funded, and this is public knowledge. Random European politicians being funded by Azeri money so they can change public opinion on the Armenia issue.
Yeah.
It went completely unrecognized, completely ignored. We know exactly what that's like. We post anything about Armenia, they still pop up random. Bro, you remember this? We used to go into the comments and look at those accounts, and they'd be like, it was started like last week. But they have all this stuff they're talking about.
So sort of put yourself in that shoes in that sense, right? If someone then came out and said the same thing, like, yeah, so what, Azerbaijan, might be funding media to do this.
Yes.
What else would you expect? You would expect them to do that.
But
and then,
that's the thing. I already expect that.
No, I know.
I know everyone's doing that. We live in a culture, we live in a society where there's an information war going on at the same time. There is an actual war going on in any conflict around the world. People right now we're an information society. Something happens across the world, immediately all that information, true or false, is in people's hands. I can't trust majority of things I see on the internet. Like, what was it the other day that happened? Oh gosh. There was the Australian shooting situation that happened. Do you know the amount of fake information that was out there that was
it's always like that.
Information?
It's always like that.
Yeah, but it was just like constant, right? And so like, who's funding that? Somebody's got to be funding that. That's not randomly happening. Like if Israel is doing funding, because remember, it's information war. If Israel's spending, like, okay, so this comment just came in, let me post it, right? So Ivan said, the 7K started from a doc filed under the FARA showing 900,000 budget for an Israeli influencer campaign called the Esther Project. They structured it to pay about 15 influencers for 75 to 90 posts. Okay, if Israel's doing this, which I anticipate that they are, and I anticipate a bunch of other countries that are doing this, there is a counter to that is happening. Who's funding that stuff? If America's funding stuff, do you not think Russia is funding stuff? Didn't you tell me that recently when Twitter came out with the location things? I think it was you that told me that Twitter came out with this location thing on it.
It was a bunch
and
of
we
bots
discovered like a
around.
bunch of these accounts were like in Pakistan and India.
Yeah.
Like, who came up with those accounts? Who paid for that to happen?
Yeah, but here's the thing. I agree with you, bro. But like, I'm trying to get you to understand something from the perspective of the people that we are calling out, and this is the perspective, right? I'm not talking about the bots going back and forth, or even people. Let's say they're legitimate people going. I'm talking about honest people who make honest, good-hearted, good faith arguments, right? So there are people that go online and say, "Listen, I'm a Christian. I love the Jewish people." Right. Yeah. And I've generally been in support of Israel, but it seems like what's happening here is not right, and it seems like it's gone over the top. Like,
correct.
This is something that some things that you've said even, right? And it's going over the top, and this doesn't seem to be morally justifiable at this point, right? And then you got a bunch of people attacking that person, like being funded in a sense, if we want to use those words, to then attack that person and say, no, this person is compromised, whatever. But then the person's concern is not just that they disagree with war, or this war maybe wasn't just. The person's concern is that this could potentially be like something that's the worst of the ethical atrocities, like a genocide.
Yeah.
So it's not like we don't like that they went and meddled in the government affairs. Like, those are things where like everyone does that. Some people do, but like not everyone gets like accused of genocide all the time. Like, it's not a common issue that comes up. At least maybe I'm wrong, but it's not like
no.
It's not. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a constant accusation.
I get it. And by the way, I would put that kind of thinking.
Yeah.
People who criticize that even true, a part of this cultic mindset. So I'll give you an example, right? In regards to certain Christians who have bought into a certain kind of end times view, where they can't be wrong about it. And so to a great extent, in my experience, I've seen Christians, certain Christians, blindly support the state and nation of Israel. Not because, I would even argue and say it's not because they actually care about that stuff. It's because they have a specific end times view. That's the reason.
Yeah,
and I would put it in the same exact category. So it's not that you have... it's a one-sided thing. This kind of thinking permeates all across the board. You've been recently talking about the woke right. I think I haven't watched the video and stuff, but I think Ali Beth Stuckey did something on the woke left and the woke right. These kind of, polarizing situations. And so like that's because it permeates, this kind of thinking permeates.
Yeah, it's funny because like Candace Owens recently put out like on one of their lives, she started talking to black men. Like black men, they like the Jews don't care about you. They want you to suffer. They want to own you. Like literally, like these kind of things, right? And then like somebody put a picture in their reply, like showing Candace Owens like an old picture. I don't know if this picture was real or not, by the way, but it doesn't matter because the statement was true. Because Candace Owens used to be on the left, right? She admits that. So it was a picture of Candace Owens like standing at like a leftist like rally or press conference. And it said like, what a full circle moment. And that's sort of the representation of like a woke right? So it's like she started left and then she shifted towards conservatism and then she went such a wrong route that it ends up in a different way. You just take a different exit and turn around and you come back to the same kind of identity politics and stuff like that you've been speaking out against. So now it's like, wait, Candace Owens sounds like a identity politics like motivated person, but how? Like she's conservative. Well, it's just like you can actually drive too much and then just end up on the same.
You'll end up where you started essentially, right?
Yeah,
with
like
different
same
verbiage.
location.
Yeah,
which is the funny part. Verbiage. Look, my only concern in telling you this, like, I totally think we're on board. My concern with this, Arthur, is that sometimes I feel like when we're calling out like a nutty side, especially if it's our nutty side, like we own them, they're our nutty side, right? Like we should be fair.
Crazy. There are crazy
we should
Christmas dinner.
Yeah, but we should be fair to really understand, like, what do they say? When you separate the weeds, like just the crazy people are like, everybody's this, the Jews are this, the Jews control everything, the Jews control my alarm clock, they're sending space lasers and they're controlling the weather. Like, okay, no. So we separate them and then we see like there's a legitimate concerns, right? And then you see the responses like, oh, with the people who are legitimately concerned, are they still being attacked? And if they are, then it's like
there's cognitive dissonance. Yeah, but again, going back
that scares me. You know what I mean?
Yes, going back to look, the reason why I do this, part of the reason why I do this, part of the reason why Apologia Center exists is to teach Christians how to think properly. Like, and it's not just about like the arguments for God's existence. I've explained this plenty of times before that we view apologetics as a worldview formation sort of thing. It's about politics. It's about culture. It's about current events. I can't sit there and teach someone, look, here's a proper deductive argument. You have two premises and a conclusion. Does the conclusion follow? Do you have valid premises? Are they sound? Are they too like general and stuff like that? Make them more concise because you want your argument I can't do that about God's existence, about the resurrection of Jesus, about the reliability of the New Testament, about all those things, and then just turn a blind eye to my Christian brother or Christian sister doing really dumb argumentation when it comes to current events, when it comes to politics, when it comes to any group of people on the planet. It doesn't fit. I can't go to sleep at night properly if I don't comment on it. Right, so let me bring up something because I saved this earlier on. Sawa said something that I think I highlighted the wrong thing. She said something about, I think stupidity is subjective. Oh, you're here. Okay, found it. Okay, sorry, disagree. Stupidity can be subjective. What's stupid to you may not be stupid to others. It's context and other areas to the question asked. Now, let me just clarify something, and maybe I should have clarified this. When I mean stupidity, I mean objectively illogical stupidity. Not like, oh, I think that's stupid. Like Tom is a Lakers fan, and I'm like, oh, I think that's stupid because he should be a Warriors fan or something like that. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about objectively violating the laws of logic. And anyone who does it, whether it's me, I've said stupid things and people have called it out and corrected it. And I said, well, you're right. Yeah, the logic doesn't follow. Here's where the improvement. Oh, let me clarify. I just did it as a matter of fact. I just clarified a statement so that we're all on the same page. And maybe Sawa will come back and say, yeah, okay, Art, with that definition, I agree with you. But it's not a subjective sort of thing. People can ask stupid questions. There are, like I said, there are such things. And it's okay to call those things out. You are not an enlightened person because you just ask questions. Because there are such things as bad questions.
Okay. Yeah. I think you did clarify that. Like when you said, he did kind of clarify context, Salvo, because he talked about like if a kid is in like like primary school or something like that, like you wouldn't necessarily say those questions are stupid. So there was a clarification there.
Well, I'll give you an example. Look, I'll give you a perfect example. Okay, and this has to do with Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson. Tucker
Clarkson. Tucker Clarkson. It's like when the accent, guys. If you're not like ethnic, you don't know the struggle. Sometimes you're like, they're like call like 1, 2, 3. Like it's like it just
happens.
The vomits, and you could be born here. You could be born in America. Like it just doesn't matter. Like,
do you know what Tucker's net worth is?
Tucker or his clone? Because his clone is
rich. Okay, I just Googled this. I don't know how true this is or not, whatever. Tucker Carlson's net worth is a subject of varied speculation, with recent 2025 estimates placing it between 420 million to 2 billion. Okay? Now, let's say it's on the lower end of all of this. Let's say it's let's say it's 100 million. Just whatever, man. I don't care, right? He has a media company. He has people who work for him, people who research all this stuff for him. Now, Tucker Carlson had a guy on, and they were having a discussion about Armenia. He had 2 guys on.
Bob Amsterdam.
Okay. Here. This is the video I'm talking about. The title of the video, The Global War on Christianity Just Got a Whole Lot Worse, and Ted Cruz doesn't care. I don't know what the heck Ted Cruz has to do with anything, but it's their YouTube videos, their titles. We get how this stuff works. Now, he has this gentleman on. This gentleman is related to a guy that's been arrested in Armenia. There's all sorts of political kind of crazy stuff going on in Armenia right now. My point isn't like to come down on a specific side, but he had this guy spewing a lot of stuff, and it's like he didn't spend 30 minutes doing research. Brother, if you're worth $420 million, you should be able to hire a couple of people that know how to research things well.
Unless you don't want to.
Unless there's an agenda.
There's an
angle. You're getting paid to promote that. Which, by the way, there was a bunch of rumors in Armenia that he got paid a lot of money for this episode because the guy that's arrested is like filthy rich. Now, let me give you the difference. I don't have $420 million. I have the negative of that. Okay.
Yeah, I have $20.
Now, simply put, Mr. Mike Winger posted a comment and I wanted to respond to it. And I said, I know a book that has some things about this subject. Let me take it out about an hour before we go live and read a couple of things in it so I can sharpen myself and have reasonable things to say about that. I did some research on it. Now, is it exhaustive research? No, it's not exhaustive research. This is not an exhaustive sort of stream, right? But it's important to do these things. And then people will come to me and want me to respect him on things that I don't. Now, it was easier for me to spot those things in that interview about Armenia because I'm aware of the situation in Armenia.
Yeah.
What happens when I'm not aware of the situation, Tom? And they're spewing these things out. And again, I'm criticizing people who tend to be on the right. This stuff happens on the left like an avalanche. Avalanche. Sure. Every time any lefty stands there and says something like, you're therefore a Nazi, or you're like, we're sick and tired of your random, you're racist because you hate immigrants. It's like, bro, I am an immigrant. Like, think a little. Oh, you don't want people to have, you don't want our society to have a social safety net. That's not true. You know, like, we've heard this stuff so much. So I'm just going to leave those people on the left aside and just talk about the folks that have an influence. My thing is, because I think a lot of Christians do listen to people like Candace. There's a lot of Christians do listen to people like Tucker. A lot of people do listen to whomever the name is, fill in the blank, of this channel. A lot of people listen to Tom. Tom says weirdo stuff sometimes. People text me and they say, hey, Tom just said weirdo stuff. Like he made a comment about, sorry, I just had an intruder into my office as I'm live. Thank you. Next time, open it a little softer because, we're live.
What you get? You got food?
No, check this out. This is a gift I got. You got one of these yesterday too. I want to know if you got the same exact thing that I did.
That's in my car. Yeah. Yes, that's the F-16.
F-16. This is 3D printed, Tom.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, it's very nice.
That's awesome.
One of our friends got us these gifts yesterday. It's beautiful, man. So my daughter actually just brought it and dropped it off because I told her when we were at the house. I said, "Oh, I'll take it in." Now, not only do I look, I have this, I have these things just sitting in front of me. It's just growing. So I got a really nice F-16.
Got a bunch of toys, huh?
I also have this.
The GOAT versus the F-16.
By the way, I love airplanes. Like in another possible world, which is a conversation we were having with Tom yesterday.
You want to be pilot?
I would absolutely have been a pilot.
Yeah.
I love airplanes. My wife took me out one time. One time for my birthday, my wife got me a flying lesson. That was really fun.
I just searched Arthur Asaturian net worth on Google, and it says Arthur Asaturian, a.k.a. Don Peepo. This is an individual.
That guy is a multimillionaire.
Oh, that's not you?
Brother, number
I was
one,
gonna say, brother, like if that's low key, the
last names are not spelled the same, and you can look him up. And that guy lives in Russia. You can look him up.
I mean, listen, if it was
how much
somehow,
is he worth, by the way,
330 million pounds.
Yeah,
British. So if this was you, let's say hypothetically speaking, but you were using Apologia Center as sort of like a way to, funnel.
Yeah, you can watch. That guy makes a lot of videos online and stuff like that because I think he's just like bored. You can go watch him. You can very clearly see that it's not me.
Hey, listen, can I be a little emotionally vulnerable with you?
Jacobian Production says, "Where's my gift?"
I am your gift, brother. That's my best man.
We need to get this man
That's
a gift,
my best
by the way,
man.
this year. Apologia Center he's done a lot for us this year.
Yeah, he's a legend.
We need to get him a gift.
He's a legend. He actually scared me, by the way. He texted me saying like he lost the audio file or something a couple days ago, and I had a full on panic. And then he's like, and then like he said, "I'm kidding," but in such a like a normal way. I'm like, "So you have it?" He's like, "Yeah, I was just kidding." I was like, "Brother, like make the joke a little stronger." So I'm like,
Here. Sorry, Sapirada says, I'm not really sure I understand why the laws of logic are directly relevant to judging whether a question counts as stupid. What is an example of a stupid question? A stupid question would be something like, you're sitting there. I'll give you an example. This actually happened with. Now, this is not a laws of logic one. It's just funny. My son's coach told me one time he was giving a team talk to the kids, like intense game. The game's like 1-0 or something like that. It's 1-1. He's giving this talk and stuff like that. And then one of the kids raises his hand and he goes, "Hey, coach, I got a question." Halftime, by the way. Tense. And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Is the other team Armenians?" Stupid question, by the way. Very good example of a stupid question. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But yeah, you can come up with questions to give you on a more serious note, to answer your question here on a serious note. You can give or ask questions that are based on faulty assumptions. Like you can ask questions that are hasty generalizations. Like the one I try to give an example of with Candace saying, "Look, these slave ships were owned by Jews." I'm just asking questions. right? Well, why were they owned by Jews? I don't know, because Jewish people did bad things. Some Jewish people did bad things. That's why I asked the question that I did. Like, no black people ever did bad things, ever. By the way, Candace I was doing some research on her husband. Like, her father-in-law, I think, was involved in like the Enron stuff. Do you guys know this?
George Farmar, that's his name, I think.
Yeah, you can go down the rabbit trail. And what are we supposed to assume from that? That therefore Candace's husband is what? Nothing. That would be an example of a stupid question for me, right? His dad did. Unless we have evidence, unless you have actual things about the man that you could reasonably and rationally conclude something, then asking questions about that is a meaningless thing. It's Tom, it was your beef with what's her name? That went after David Wood.
The report.
The Royce report.
The Royce report.
Right, like we're just asking questions. You're asking questions. You're digging in on every single individual.
Because if you do that, Because if you do that, Candace, it's actually more plausible. Like, you could make better arguments about her being like for example, ex-liberal, was anti-Trump in the beginning, then quickly became a conservative, then immediately was hired by Ben Shapiro's company, and then became a conservative voice, and then met her then to be husband, and then married him after 2 weeks or something like that. Like a 2 week. They knew each other for 2 weeks, like went to a couple parties, then got married, and then the dad happens to be a lord in the British Parliament, and then the guy is a smart guy, and then he was like, the husband's a Catholic, but she was a Protestant. Had Ali Beth Stuckey on to debate her husband, and then randomly decided to become a Catholic. She's like, so many weird stuff you can make weird.
See, that's the thing. It's if we use the same kind of logic and we ask the same sort of questions. Well, again, I would say those are stupid questions. We'd come to conclusions like she's a plant. She's doing this to destroy the conservative movement. There's money backing her up. Like we can just go. I mean, there's people legitimately talking about why Tucker's, for example, become like super soft on Islam, and that he's being funded by the Qataris or whomever, Saudis or whatever like that. And like, do we have evidence for it? We might not. And then we can ask the right relevant questions.
Yes, I mean, if you look for coincidences and things that could potentially point to anything, I'm telling you, just try this. Like, I try this all the time because like I love to think about like weird stuff. So I'll sometimes be like, okay, if I was gonna accuse this person of this thing, how many angles could I potentially make it seem like that thing actually happened? And then once you start thinking, you're like, oh my God, there's so many ways. He was sitting here. He was talking to that person. Why wasn't his wife at church this week? Like, there's so many ways you can go about it where it's like actually creepy. If you're digging, if you're searching for it, the world is a funky place. You can always get to it. But that's why we don't think like that, right? Like, that's why we have proper ways of thinking. It's also like part of the reason, by the way, I know this is a little bit of a stretch, but why, if a criminal like gets caught, like, I don't know, like stealing a car or something like that, you can't then go and take like random facts that are like, the judge decides, okay, does this pertain to the case or not? Because you can like bring a lot of weird stuff and try to make a connection. Like, if this guy actually didn't do the crime, you can be like, what about all these other things in his life? And then the judge is like, like that doesn't prove he did the crime. So like, you can always look for these kind of things.
Yes.
But it's not always legitimate, which is
stupid question. That's not such a stupid question anymore. What is a woman? Tom, that is very creepy. I don't know what that response is.
I mean, like if you're in this world, like I feel like I have the craziest world, Arthur. By the way, I think my world is even crazier than yours in the YouTube sphere, because I'm listening to people like Candace Owens, and then I'm listening to responses from like conservatives who are against her, and then I'm listening to people like Piers Morgan and others that are like, well, I can have them both on, and then all of a sudden you like click next on the YouTube page, and it's like, now it's Christian apologists that are like, what did he say about what he said, and the response to that, and then you're like your brain is exploding at one point, because that now you have so much information from just different areas, like different ways of thinking, like the way you think or the way Mike Winger thinks, or the way Wes Huff thinks is much different than the way, let's say, Piers Morgan thinks or Tucker Carlson thinks. Even the way you're like talking about the subject is so different.
Yes.
And so like you really get so my point was, the Khachik was like you start thinking about these things, like, could that be a possibility? Well, if that's a possibility, could that other thing be a possibility? And if this person is acting a little weird, are they acting weird on purpose, or they're just a weird person? And so it just, you go down this rabbit hole, and at one point you realize, listen, some things just happen in an awkward way, and there are some, like, again, I'm not talking about like philosophically, theologically, coincidences. Like sometimes things just end up being really weird and could be pointed in a direction, but they're completely not. And so it's really important when you're looking at a story, like evidence, facts, like the facts have to be what leads you to the conclusion. It can't be, I don't have the smoking gun to lead me to the conclusion, but there's a bunch of weird things that happen around it. Because if you think that way, man, there's a lot of people that can be screwed in situations where they shouldn't be. That's
yeah, I agree.
my 2 cents.
I want some clarification on some comments here. AH Bespoke says, Tom, please don't listen to Mr. Morgan. He's bad news. Can anybody tell me why there was a whole issue with David Wood and AP? I didn't really catch that when they were talking about they're not going to call him Pierce Morgan. They're going to call him Mr. Morgan. Somebody give me some context there, because I'm lost a little bit on that. Someone should run through Arthur's streams and collect clips of Tom saying funny things. He'd be canceled.
I actually love listening to Piers Morgan, not because of anything about Piers Morgan himself necessarily, but because it's actually a show that every single kind of person gets on. Like I can't even point to another like show like his, Uncensored, where like every kind of thought is shared on that thing. And he's super annoying. Like, I know we take some of these like guys that have been on like this old school media, we kind of take them as a joke a lot of times, but man, some of these people are really smart. They're trained in the kind of way, like Piers Morgan is trained in the way he pushes people. So like Candace will go on and like she'll flip on the show, and then Jenk, like every time Jenk goes on and I see Jenk in his face, Jenk is like, today I'm not gonna flip, and then Piers just knows. Piers will just do something and Jenk will be, let me finish, why am I here? And you're like, how did he do it? That was magic. Piers Morgan, dude, that was magic.
I'd love to be on Piers Morgan and have Cenk on at the same time and see kind of the way he would lose it and the way I would respond to that. Going back to this statement, still don't get why you had brought up laws of logic in the rant you went on previously. I don't.
Dude, you're getting called out. One time you're getting, you know what? I support Sopre. One time I'm not the one getting called out badly. Good job. I agree.
went on a rant.
Why did you go on this rant about?
And then he's look. He says the most white thing on the planet that you can possibly say. This is actually called like white guilt, not white guilt. I don't know. It's like oppressive things. You went on. He says in that rant you went on previously while slightly raising your voice, brother. Slightly raising my voice. Seriously, come on, bro.
This is Arthur whispering, dude. Like this is how Arthur whispers.
I don't think I've raised my voice today. That's the thing. We went caroling yesterday, and so we were singing and organizing. So my voice is a little raspy and stuff like that. So I really haven't raised my voice. And even if I have, that's just because I speak passionately about things. You don't understand why I brought up the laws of logic, because I think people don't know how to logically think. I think you, of all people, would appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, I had one that I forgot to say. Like, why don't fish drown? Like that would if I hear some. Yeah, like that's a stupid question.
You know why?
It assumes that they could, and then you're asking why don't they?
Well, it assumes. But we're trying to. The reason why they don't do it is because there's these sea people that live there, and Aquaman is their king, and he's like keeping them from drowning. Magic. Sawa says, "I love the Young Turks. They have passion, ethnic passion."
that
this
ethnic passion
statement's
has
not
at
going to age
times.
with us very well, Sawa, by the way. I don't know whether you know the history behind the Young Turks. The Young Turks are the orchestrators of the Armenian genocide. And then you putting in there that they have ethnic passion. Cenk is the Turk there. And what's her name?
I get
Anna?
what she's trying to say. I get what she's trying to say.
And what's her name? Anna?
Anna Kasparian.
Yeah. And she's
whom we
Armenian.
actually saw saw at a restaurant
A couple of weeks back.
You know, and us being normal human beings, we didn't actually run up to her like, how could you? We just sat there and ate our food.
And they ate their food and they had a couple of drinks.
Yeah, they ate their food and they had fun with their husbands or whatever. And we kind of acknowledged Arthur and I and that we know who the person is, and then we moved on and we enjoyed our night, and we didn't try to do anything weird.
Yeah, like I didn't go up to her and be like, "You want to come on Apologia Center and debate me? I'll destroy."
I mean, if Sapre was there, you might have
yelled
like,
at Tom for having YouTube ads, for having ads on YouTube. Yeah.
Hey man, listen, he's always yelling at me. I'm used to it at this point.
Sawa says, I call out Arthur out heaps. Hello, wake up, boys. Hey, Sawa, I still haven't watched that video you sent and I haven't showed it to Tom. Don't make me do it. Sawa, by the way, sent us Tom, stop.
Sorry, I'm trying to fix my camera.
Sawa sent us an email, and then she had posted a YouTube like music video, and she was like, "Show this to Tom X, Y, and Z." And then she came on the other night. She's like, "I hope that you didn't take it the wrong way, and this and because that video had like all these like weird stuff in it." And I was like, "Good thing I haven't seen it yet," and I didn't even mention it to Tom. So Tom, maybe like today sometime we'll sit down and watch what she sent.
Yeah, why not? We should react to it. Why don't we react to it right now? Hey, listen, I was gonna say, can I be like going back to, and if you guys are listening to this, can I be vulnerable for a second? Like,
yes, please.
Not vulnerable.
Let me give you the screen. Hang on. Hang on.
Oh no, this is weird. Actually,
okay,
Tom, I want to do. Oh god, this is so weird.
Hey, look at that! The Simple Grill is sitting back there. Are you trying to advertise yourself?
No, I'm trying to cover the window in the back that's under construction and currently is exposing random pieces of wood. And that was just a really big box. If you notice, everything there is blocking.
Okay,
but listen, can I share my screen? I can't play any sound, but I just want to show you something as I talk. Is that possible?
I think so. I think so. It's just
okay. Let me share it, and if you
share it, and then I'll see how I can bring that into.
Yeah. So if you wanna. I just shared the screen.
No,
if you can't see it, there's another way I can do it, but I just want people to see this and like feel the pain a little bit, you know?
Just give me a second here. I'm gonna try to bring this in. Oh, that's not what I want.
Forget about it. Forget about it. Oh, there's two of me. There's two of me.
Oh man, no.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's me. That's what I wanted.
I just absolutely ruined everything. Sorry, man. I think we can.
But you did it. You brought it up. You brought it up.
Yeah. No. It's. Trust me. It's. Hang on. I got it. Just give me 1 second. We'll figure this out. Okay. Do you want to talk about this? Go ahead.
Okay. So this is Wretched, and Wretched is run by Todd Friel. He does a lot of like theology reactions, apology, and he's done this for a long time. I used to watch this on. I think it might have been on TBN, but so he's been, so all these Christian like sort of influencers have been responding to these political things that are going on, which is great. It's fine. But then in this scenario, I actually wanted to ask you a question about this. So I'm not even trying to give my commentary here, Arthur. I actually want to ask you. Like I was going to ask this of Arthur if I met him in person, like off the whatever YouTube today, right? So he had Megan, I think her name is Megan Basham. Basham, yeah.
That looks like Megan.
So she's so she's a Christian. You know, like, as you can see, I watched this. It's not at least as much as I could. So he had her on, and you know, she does I guess some sort of Christian content and stuff. I've listened to her stuff in like Fox News stuff, but never really like focused on any of her.
Yeah, she wrote a book. Content. She wrote a book recently.
Yeah, it was about pastors. I think it was called like Wolves in
Yeah, pastors for
Pastor
no,
Walls or
shepherds for sale
pastors,
or something like that.
yeah, shepherd for sale, which I don't have a problem with that. But anyways, she was on this show and she was talking about why people watch someone like Nick Fuentes, or like she even put Tucker Carlson in that, right? And so, and the responses she gave, and this is coming from someone who's like me, that's called out Nick Fuentes on you. You just put up a short where I'm like, why are you listening to this guy, right? But then the reasons I give about why you shouldn't listen to Nick Fuentes assumes that a lot of people are listening to Nick Fuentes. Like, hey guys, there's a lot of you watching this, and some of the things he might saying, like he's talking about problems here, and but I don't think that those are good solutions. So like, be careful, right? But then, anyways, she went on in this interview. First of all, say I don't think a lot of people are watching Nick Fuentes. I think it's like bots and stuff like that that are like creating like false views, and you know, there's and sort of like started saying really weird stuff. By the way, she's now. As a side note, she is hired by the Daily Wire. Okay, so she was saying all these like super weird stuff, like men are this, men have been put down in our society, so they're just so like they're so addicted to pornography and stuff like that they just like find these weird people to go to, and it was just like basically if you're a young man sitting and watching this, and you're not like a full on kook, but let's say you're listening to Nick Fuentes or some of these guys that are making some points that you agree with, and the rage they're using is kind of attracting you, instead of like trying to tell you, hey, we get your rage, but there's a better way to talk about this. It seems like you're sort of pointing at these guys and going like, yeah, they're exactly what I would expect. Like porn addicted young men who have been, you know, blah, 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 toxic masculine and stuff like. And then like, I was like, am I the only one that feels this way? And by the way, this is Wretched's channel. The people who generally watch this show are in agreement with Todd, right? Like there's not much debates going on Todd Friel's whatever. But then look at the comments, Arthur. I'm so glad he asked a woman on how men think. This will help get to the bottom of it. This should be men speaking about men. But this is not even the comments I was talking about. Like people start saying things like, this woman is a reporter for the Daily Wire. Who could have guessed? The first mistake is asking a woman what a masculine leadership. Bad choice of a person to interview about Nick Fuentes. Woman who works for Ben Shapiro. I believe Megan be bearing a false witness. Like and look, this is not by the way, I love the Daily Wire. I love listening to Ben Shapiro. Probably one of those things I have to listen to in the morning before I get my day started. I have nothing against them. I don't believe in any of those false stuff like they're controlling whatever. But it's like when the young men you're talking about are responding to the content saying like, who is this person who assumes how we feel, and like basically illegitimizes what we're actually thinking and makes us come out to be like bots or like some, like you're losing the conversation. I'm telling you, like I'm seeing this all over the net. Like these are not bots here. These are people who are watching. These are part of a 23,000 views. Not a lot of views, by the way. Objectively, not a lot of views, right? So like, and when people are replying like this, I guess my question for you is like, how do you talk about things like you just did with about Mike Winger stuff? Like, how do we engage, especially the younger generation, and saying, "Hey, watch out for these cultish things. Watch out for people who might be leading you astray," but also not treat them like if they're watching some of this stuff and if they have some interest in this content, that like you've already written this like diagnosis about who they are. And it's this, you're a psychopath, you're this, you're addicted to porn, you must be a loser, you must have never been laid, you go find a girlfriend, go blah, blah, blah. It's like when you start writing that down, you're literally like, there's no winning for you. None of those men are going to be like, heck yeah, after what Megan Basham said, like I don't want to listen to Nick Fuentes anymore. I want to go listen to someone more legitimate.
Yeah. That's a good question. Look, I think one of the things that we can do is just let them talk. For multiple reasons. One of them is that I pretty firmly believe in the freedom of speech. So let them speak. Let Candace Owens speak. Let Nick Fuentes speak. This is kind of what I disagreed about with what Ben Shapiro said at the TPUSA thing recently. The other thing is that show legitimate clips of them, statements they make, their argumentation, and then respond to it in a rational way. Tom, the reason why I've been focusing on this, as opposed to the reason why other people focus on it, people will focus on it because of the political stuff that's happening. I've been focusing on it predominantly trying to bring to the surface faulty thinking, how we can rationally have alternate views that make a lot more sense. It's allowing it to come to the surface and then respecting the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Like I respond to it because I genuinely think the hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions of people that listen to Candace Owens, agree with her in many ways.
That's right.
And I loved the reason why we put out your short, where you predominantly were speaking in that short. You were talking about, like, why are you giving so much attention to Nick Fuentes where we have better conservative ideas than that guy?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is true conservatism. Why are you that kind of ditching it there? So you bring it up, and I think you compare and contrast it. But that's my view about Christianity. This has been my view about doing apologetics in a way of like, what are the other competing worldviews? Let's bring it up and let's do a fair comparison. Oh, you're an atheist and you think you're the moral arbiter and you can come up with great moral pronouncements. Let's take your worldview to its logical conclusion and see whether you can do that or you can't do that. What are the problems with your worldview? What are the problems with my worldview? Which one, at the end of the conversation, stands better rooted and better grounded? Oh, you're a Muslim and you believe all these things? A very good example of a video I recently posted with that Muslim gentleman, that young guy that I am assuming young guy. But that I had a conversation with, is he came into the conversation calling David Wood a pedophile and all this stuff. And I said, cool, assume I agree with everything that you said. Do you think that Muhammad did the following things? And what would that make him? Right? Like, right. It's doing that comparison. You think you're such a morally upright individual. You can make these pronouncements about things. And yet, in a matter of 30 seconds of serious questions, you have no ground to stand on. Your entire perspective falls apart.
Yes. Just
collapses into nothingness. And so, yeah, I'm not going to sit there and I don't know, maybe Megan Basham has a lot of research backing her. But you like research like that, sociological research, I would say, there's a lot of generalizations that are going on there. Oh, you can maybe say, 20% of the viewers or 20% of the people are this sort of people. I don't know, single, unmarried, 35-year-olds, something like that. But you have to be very careful not to put too much emphasis on that, not to put too much weight on that kind of an argumentation.
Yeah. Especially when a lot of like married men are watching porn.
Yeah.
Or corn, you know what I mean? So it's like to make that, because then they can point back and be like, what are you talking about? Like there was a weird statistic, like I don't even want to say it because I'm not 100% sure, but it was like, I could definitely say it was over 50% of like married men in Christian churches who are regularly attending are struggling with pornography.
Correct.
Like, so like,
yeah, I don't know about the numbers, but it's a high number.
So that is to make a painting of these people. I guess what I'm trying to say, Arthur, is, and by the way, I don't know, I might have contradicted myself on this, even on this podcast in the past, but I feel like anytime I've talked about these people that go off the fringes, like a Nick Fuentes, even a Candace, is that, first of all, I don't want the worst for them, and I don't think they're like the worst figures in history. If anything, I want to tell their listeners, hey, like, yes. I get it. Candace and Nick Fuentes are making really good points when it comes to what the problem is. Like, they are diagnosing the problem well, and in a lot of areas. Okay, some areas they're not. But hey, the solutions that they're giving you, they're not conservative solutions. They're not Christian solutions. They're not the right solutions. It's just going to lead you to a more nihilistic, crappier way of thinking about your life, about yourself, about who you want to become in the future. So come to a better place where we don't just like throw you away and disregard your gripes, but we try to push you to the correct path, or like, hey, there's a better way to do this, right? But
Yeah.
my fear is what a lot of Christians, especially like when I heard Megan talk, by the way, this is before I looked at any of the comments, Arthur, God be my witness, as she was speaking, and I'm probably on her side with a lot of the things she's saying. I'm probably on her side 95%. I was thinking, as I'm like, if I am a younger generation man and I'm listening to her talk to me right now, what am I gonna think? And my thought was, I hate her. Like, I hate everything she's saying about me. I hate the fact that she thinks that, first of all, the movement I'm part of is not legitimate, because it is legitimate. I hate the fact that she's sitting here saying, like, you know, men need to take a leadership role. I don't believe in women pastors. I don't believe women should lead the home. Men should step up and lead. Like, she's saying all these stuff, but then like preaching to the men about how they should live their lives in a very like ironic twist, right? And so men feel that, especially younger men. Like, if you communicate with younger men, they feel that kind of stuff. And so you don't have enough time, Arthur. You don't have enough time with the young generation to sit about and say, you know what, Megan could be making a point that's, you know, making you look a little wrong. But in the grander scheme of things, Megan has done this work, and in her book, Shepherds for, it's like, no, dude, it's a quick world. So if I have a second to like grab the attention of young men, what I'm going to say is, I understand your pains. I understand your grubs. I even understand the fact that you've turned to pornography because, you know, you've been feminized. You've been told you're this. You know, I understand why you're failing in the education system, and why there's more women going to school, and why it seems like there's an upward trend of women are going to make more money than you. I get it. And you've been treated unfairly, and it's wrong. And it seems like the world is kind of overcorrecting against the patriarchy that, you know, that used to exist, and going in a way that's totally ignoring you. It's leaving you at the previous exit, right? But there's a better solution than screaming, yelling, fighting, and becoming anti that Christian, conservative, family, God-fearing man. That you don't have to run away from that. Come back and fix it. Come back and try to reconcile. But Megan and some of these people are not helping with that. So they're actually in a ironic twist, they're pushing more people towards those more fringe voices. I guarantee you that, almost like I've experienced that.
Yeah, I haven't seen too much of her. My interaction with Megan's stuff was predominantly when she wrote that book, and she mentioned Gavin Ortland in the video and some stuff. Gavin made responses and said, you know, it's not being fairly treated and all this stuff, but she came, I think, at him in pretty strong ways and whatever. Like, so for me, we have to be careful. Like, this is the difference. Let me put it this way. If I'm going to go with what you've said and the way you've, explained that situation is a fair kind of summary, because I haven't seen the video, so I'm just going to trust you. It's the difference between talking with people and talking to people, talking at people. That's the difference. And we might not feel like it, Tom, you and I. How old are you now? 33, right? So I'm 40. Yeah. We might not feel like it because we don't think we're old. We can get really disconnected with the younger generation, 15, 16, 17-year-olds, especially if you're not spending time with them.
Yeah.
You can very easily get into the trap and the habit of talking at young people. When we were young, we quite often felt like older people talked down to us. And quite often, we were pretty certain we were right on some very important things. But they would talk down to us, and that would be like absolutely frustrating that they would do that, knowing that the things that we were right about, that we were actually right about. And we, in many ways, could become just like those individuals that talk down to us. And we talk down to the generation, like Gen Z right now, or Gen Alpha, like talk down to them. I would say there definitely is a healthy, proper way of doing that, of communicating that, of understanding, validating, and at the same time disagreeing. So, yeah,
and it's not, of course, and it's not by, and you would agree that it's not by shutting their mouths, like shutting their voices.
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah,
like that's like that's where it's been pushed, Arthur. Where I feel like when I'm watching, like some of these conservatives respond to this stuff, it's like it's kind of like saying shut their voices, like don't let them speak. Because it's funny because they're calling that, like the Nick Fuentes right, the woke right, but then they're doing the same thing by saying like these people shouldn't have a voice anymore. They're being also the woke right. So like everyone in the world is woke now, I guess. Like I don't want them to stop talking. I want
This is why
them
the
to
labels
talk.
just don't make any sense after a while, by the way.
Yeah. By the way, like I want them to talk, not because like I think what they're saying is legitimate, or not because like I'm like, oh, let Nick Fuentes keep talking so then I can dunk on him because he's gonna say something so stupid. It's like, no, it's like let them talk so they present their worldview, their solutions, and then let me give an alternate solution, which I think is the correct solution, and then allow people who I think have the capability, you do too, to actually think about things and to learn how to think, to be like, you know what, I don't like that. Like as I'm getting a little older, he's not making a lot of sense because this is not actually helping me thrive in life. Maybe I should go to this direction. I should listen to this guy. Maybe the truth that this guy,
you know, one of the things that always
I don't want to shut him up.
One of the things that comes to my mind quite often is thinking about the individuals that we were influenced by when we were younger. So like before I was a Christian, I was pretty heavily influenced by Eminem and the things that Eminem said in his music. Like that had a huge impact and influence in my life. And like if I had the, I don't know, platform to communicate those things, it would have been a mess. Or like if Eminem was a rapper who had a YouTube channel, like when I was growing up. Like, can you imagine what kind of influence that would have been? Like, not only was it his music that was influencing us, but like the stuff he was saying, it would have been crazy. Yeah. Now, we live in a world where that's actually what's happening. And I don't know, when people make these comments, the question I ask generally to myself is, were you never influenced by just wrong people? Because I know I was. And I guess maybe some of that is a part of growing up. Like you're not going to get everything right 100%. That's okay. Given the proper parameters, the proper people around you, the good influences around you, you'll grow out of that. You'll figure it out.
Yep.
We've known each other long enough where we've seen those things about each other, you and I, where it's like, oh, like you were like this, but now you've like grown out of it and into a better, healthier place because your community's been good, the information's been good, and that's helped quite a bit on that. Rather than like sitting there and saying something like when we were like that, it's like, oh, you're stupid. And the people that did that, by the way, and there were plenty of people that did that, lost complete respect in our lives to speak into our lives very quickly. And maybe they shouldn't have. Maybe they were saying really good stuff, but the way they were communicating it made them lose respect from our perspective to them, where we didn't value the opinions that they had. And maybe if they communicated properly, it would have taken us less time to figure this stuff out. So the reason why I say this is because there is a issue when it comes to the methodology of communication that's very important. It matters quite a bit. And I think the suggestion here is, guys, I don't know how old you guys are, and I'm sure there's a range there, but be careful not to turn into those kind of the old get off my porch kind of person, because then you lose the ability to speak into people's lives. You lose it. You won't even realize that it happened to you. I say this because a number of years ago, I came to the realization that I was sort of turning into that individual who just thought like all the young people were dumb and didn't know what was going on until I started hanging out with them. And I was like,
lawn.
What'd you say?
Like you were the get off my lawn guy.
Yeah, get off my porch.
Stupid young people.
And I started hanging out with them, and I was like, wait. They're communicating some serious stuff. They're communicating it in a bit of a different way than I would have, or I do, but they're asking some serious questions that need answers.
And Arthur, they have a greater outlet than we did. So like when we think of young people, a lot of times it's like 6, 7, they're so stupid. But then they're actually online in like gaming chats and YouTube streams, and God knows, like sometimes I'll hear like a platform that exists that I've never heard of in my life, and then I'll search it up, and there's like some guy has like 10 million followers on the platform. So like, not only are they thinking about stuff, important stuff, talking about important stuff, but they're actually like they're actively communicating with other people about that stuff 24/7. It's not like they have to wait till they go to school, because if they send another text message, it's going to charge them 10 cents and then their dad's going to scream at them. They just go online and they communicate with each other. So
and they're talking to a wider range of people, and they have way more access to information than anybody else.
For sure.
Let me respond to this guy, because he seems to be, I don't know what generation he's a part of. This guy, he's a kid, Didn't you accuse primary children of asking silly questions? Yes. And the individuals I was talking about are not primary students. They are secondary students, as you would say in the greatest kingdom or something like whatever you guys call yourselves over there across the pond.
Man, people are really hung up on this comment you made, by the way.
I know. I looked up what 6'7" was a couple of minutes ago. It's great. I was telling Tom yesterday that In and Out got rid of the order number 67. Have you guys seen this? Did you see the reactions from the young folks, Tom? Where everybody just waits at In and Out for them to say 6'7"?
Yes. Yeah, they removed it. That's so funny. By the way, we did a event yesterday that was a 6'7" theme. So it said like it said the person's name. I'm just gonna make up a name. Like Rachel was 6 and now she's 7.
That's hilarious.
Like that was the thing. It was pretty funny. It was pretty unique.
That's funny. I don't mind it. My 2-year-old says 6'7". Check this out.
Yeah. This guy took his shirt off. Take it back. They're all stupid.
Guest number 62, please. Guest number 67.
They're all waiting.
6'7". I just been right on the highway.
Guest 6'7". Roger, 6'7".
Well, I guess it's like joining a gang or something.
Here's the funny thing, bro. Here's the funny thing. Have you seen the weird, cringy videos that both Christians and Muslims, I've seen both of them, come up with about how 6'7" is demonic and like it's Satan, that you're doing a ritual when you say it. By the way, anybody who's asking about what stupidity looks like and what stupid question asking and conclusions there are, watch those videos. Watch what those guys are doing. The weird conspiratorial thinking about...
And they all have a different conspiracy about it.
Yeah. Like
there's a bunch of different ones. So it's like,
which one? It's like, this guy that made the song practices this like cultic thing, and this is that and that. And when your kids say 6'7", they're inviting demons. It's like, when you were growing up, it was like, don't play with Pokemon because that's satanic. Right? Did that happen when you were growing up?
Not Pokemon, but there was certain things where I would be told are like satanic. Yeah, like there was like a Harry Potter was one of them.
Yeah, Harry Potter was satanic.
God, I love my parents, but like I wish I read Harry Potter. Now I wouldn't be such a loser every time people are discussing like, did you see the Harry Potter series? I'm like, no. Oh, you didn't read Harry Potter?
I haven't read
No, there was reasons behind it, brother. There was reasons behind it.
Yeah, I haven't read Harry Potter. I did.
Henry! I have not read Henry Potter.
That's twice today.
Me neither, bro. Me neither.
But I've seen the movies. You haven't seen the movies?
I think I've seen a couple of them, like in passing.
Have you seen a thing? You haven't seen the Lord of the Rings either, huh?
No, we got to do that.
You need to get like today.
Should we stream the Lord of the Rings and watch it with everybody? Man, that would be so much fun.
You want to have a 14-hour stream?
It's that long, huh? Ugh.
Well, I have the extended editions, and they're all like 3.5, 4 hours long.
Bro, I was watching a couple days ago. I was watching the alternate endings to the Titanic. Like they recorded and they released, but they never put it in the movie, and it was so good. And the top comment was like, "I feel like basically like the movie is not complete without these scenes. Like, how did we actually think it was complete? It's like these people for some reason took out like epic scenes from the Titanic. And by the way, these are not like no one's talking about. They're actually showing the record. Like they recorded, they're showing the actual scenes. And then it's like they didn't put those scenes in. Like one of them is Rose goes into like the economy section to find Jack, and it was such a great scene. It's like, why would you not include that? That's a really epic scene. And then there's this other one where he's like climbing to get to the top level, and his friends or his buddies are with him. They're like, "Yeah, Jack, you can get it." It's just so good. And I'm like, these people suck at.
Well, why the heck are you talking about the Titanic, bro? Like, did you just actually compare the Titanic to the Lord of the Rings?
No, I was saying, like, I don't know how we got there.
Bro, my son got a present. My son got a present, and it's it's a Lord of the Rings board game. Okay. And it's called the War of the Ring. It's a very complicated board game, from what I understand. And he set it up. It's been sitting. The map is humongous. And it's been sitting on our like dining room table for the past 3 days. But I have to watch like videos and stuff to learn how to play this game. It'll probably take me like 12 hours of research to learn how to play it. And he's like super enthusiastic. Every time like I walk in the house, he's like, "Are we going to play it now?" Like, no, we need like 12 hours to do this.
Yeah.
And so, but he's like, you know, over the next couple of days, I got to sit down with him.
I mean, we both have our kids home over the next few weeks. So it's going to be...
Isn't that exciting?
It's definitely going to be fun. It has its ups and it definitely has some of its downs. But
never consumed any Harry Potter, not interested. Hey, if you're not interested, don't watch it.
Who said that? Oh, Best spoke.
Demolition Man was a good movie. That's true.
Wizardry.
Yeah,
I feel like if I was raised on that kind of stuff, I would have really gotten into it.
Like you would have become a witch?
Yeah, because no, like I love shows that have that, or movies that have that sort of character development, and you become like, you know, like I was. Here I am trying to be like serious and emotional. He's the silly one today, by the way. I feel like I've kept myself I've kept myself very contained today, and he's been fooling around the whole time.
I haven't.
So you know what? This is what you must feel like every time when I'm off the grid.
Would feel. No, you don't even know how I feel like. You can't conceptualize what it feels like.
I can't believe that you got called out more. Like, I even tried to rage bait in here and I didn't get called out.
I know, yeah.
And you got all these people calling you out. Oof.
That's fine, man. That's fine. It's okay.
Tom is a furry. Tom is a furry. He retracted it.
Oh, but it's too bad. It's right here.
Too late.
Well, he reposted it.
Oh man, we've had a lot of people watching today. What's going on?
Yeah, we appreciate you guys, by the way. Well, we have Mike Winger.
What happened? We hit 10,000 and everyone's watching. Oh. Let's just add Mike Winger to everything. Like literally everything we do. Like the randomest
Jesus
things.
is God, says Mike Winger.
What would Mike Winger think about, like, and then insert something he's never talked about?
I'm trying to see if Mike Winger responded to my text. No, he hasn't.
Spelling error.
Oh. Fury. Okay. Yeah. Hey, if you guys have some questions, if you're new, maybe, or there's something that's happened, I'll mention this, but I tried to do research. I was going to work it into our talk today. Let me know if anybody has any thoughts on this. Did you hear that Nicaragua has banned Bibles from going into the country?
There's no way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. How do you spell Nicaragua?
Spell it.
Nick Fuentes.
Nicaragua. Nica.
Calm down, man. I knew I was just kidding.
No.
I put a Q. I'll be honest. I put a Q. Nicaragua. Oh, you might be right.
Not might be. The thing is, they might have done this a while ago, and it's just hitting the news now.
Nicaragua currently has restrictions on bringing Bibles and other printed materials into the country, especially for tourists. Why?
I don't know. No idea. I was trying to do some research on the kind of governmental system Nicaragua has. It seems like they have sort of a democracy, but some folks are calling it a dictatorship.
Okay. So it's saying like any kind of independent faith expression they're
Yeah,
creating
but
a
they've been
hostile
going
environment.
after Catholics, the leadership of the country, for a number of years now.
Mm. Yeah, like see, this is so weird. Like this came out December 14th,
What are you reading, by the way?
2025.
What are you reading?
No, you're right. No, I'm reading the Christian Post, which is
Yeah, I'm on
December
the same
14th this
website,
year,
yeah.
and then the Daily Declaration 1 day ago. So it seems like 6 days ago. It seems like this is more recent. I don't think this is a long time
Well, some
ago.
people said it might have been like a couple of months old.
Okay, we know our next topic. Calling out Nicaragua. We're gonna take this once great nation down.
Yeah, the video is gonna be titled "Mike Winger calls out Nicaragua."
The Nicaragua and Mike Winger connection. What's it all about? Whoa, that's pretty
That
good.
is such a clickbaity title. That's hilarious. Yeah, I did some research, very little research.
Mike Winger tried to take a Bible into Nicaragua. See what happens next.
But the information I came across, I was kind of not comfortable enough to say, yeah, you know what, let's go with it. But for you guys to know, it seems like there is some legitimate news about Nicaragua not allowing Bibles to go into the country, which I don't understand why, unless the government is of a sort where they're like, no, like Christianity is banned in our country. Like that makes sense. But there's Catholics in that country. There's Bibles in that country. They're not outlawing Bibles from the country. Specifically, it's outlawing Bibles coming into the country.
Yeah, they've probably manipulated their Bibles.
Unless they've cracked down and aren't allowing people to print Bibles already. And now they're not allowing Bibles to come into the country because it's been printed essentially.
Oh, look at that! They're currently a socialist republic under Jose Daniel Ortega.
Hey, there it is.
Saavedra.
That's what I was looking for. Why is it that it's
Ortega
always the same guys?
Yep. Ortega leads an authoritarian government and has been regularly described as a dictator by the international.
So they're socialists.
It's
Why is it always the
for
socialists that ban Bibles?
Seriously.
And then, we got silly Americans thinking that socialism is a good thing. But in America, it will be different, Tom. We won't do that.
No, it's never
We'll be
different.
nicer.
It always starts as some kind of fiscal movement and then turns into a crackdown of Christian or religious social things. So
it's so annoying.
Don't vote for socialists, everyone.
Yeah, please don't. A couple other things, Tom. Did you see Jake Paul get his jaw broken?
Dude, honestly, props to him.
Look, props to him for getting into the ring with someone like Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
But like that, maybe he likes pain. Like, I'm dead serious, by the way.
You know what's funny, Arthur? People are saying things like, look at this loser. He should have never been here. God got destroyed. Don't step in this ring. Stuff like that. But I'm like, dude, if he, like, let's say somehow won, they'd be like, this is a fixed fight. Like, what do you want from the guy? Like, he fought someone that was way stronger than him, right?
Well, the
and
thing
he
is,
said, like, I'm going to fight.
My respect for him has gone up in this. That he kept fighting people who were kind of washed up fighters, and he was beating them. But clearly, he's working out. He's putting in good effort and stuff like that. They're money fights. I mean, they're to make money. I read a really, really good thing yesterday about how he's been able to utilize online content into the boxing world where people are rage watching. So think about this, Tom. The guy's a really good YouTuber, basically. Utilize that and knows people don't like him. Utilize that into boxing where people rage watch him getting beat up, and then he makes this much money. He walked away with
why don't we do that? Why don't we do that? Why don't we do like David Wood versus Julie Royce in the boxing?
Bro, that's not fair. But maybe me and you should get into a boxing ring together. I don't know.
Hey, I would literally sell my soul if David Wood.
Stop saying stuff
Julie
like that. You're gonna get clipped. By the way, David Wood, hang on. There's some updates on that. David Wood and Julie Royce have spoken, and I think they're going to do a stream together and stuff like that.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
My money's on David Wood, by the way. If anyone was
It's not a debate, but David made a thing saying, hey, yeah, Julie was wrong about X, Y, and Z, but be careful not to go too harshly because there's legitimate things she's exposing, X, Y, and Z, whatever. So we'll see when that happens. So he did make about, I think, $92 million. But,
wow,
bro, I think, so he says his jaw's broken in 2 places, he had surgery and all this stuff. But look, he went into the ring with Anthony Joshua, man, and got beat bad. This is why I was thinking, like, there was a moment where he got, like, knocked down and got up, and he started, like, taunting Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, it was like...
He was like, and I'm like, bro, are you nuts? He's going to kill you. But I was around one of my friends who was a former fighter, and he was like, bro, props to this guy, because that's not easy to do.
Would you do that, by the way, for $92 million right now? If someone...
Oh, man. 6 rounds? I'd die.
No. But let's say it would be the same result as him. You'd break your jaw, have teeth removed, like you wouldn't die. Would you get into the ring like right now for 92? Brother, I'd get in there for 500,000 if I knew I already have a messed up jaw. If I knew I was coming out with it, maybe in a fix it, maybe Joshua would smack me and fix my jaw.
Yeah, your jaw thing goes, hey, thank you.
It's a miracle.
Yeah, the thing is that I don't have the physical body type to, but nonetheless, I mean, if you go in there with the,
I mean, you were gonna lose, but if you're like, how much money would you need? Like, how much would they have to say, Arthur? Let's assume the same results, and they say, Arthur, 50,000, do you do it? 100,000, do you do it?
No, I don't know about that.
500,000. You wouldn't just get. I mean, he didn't even get knocked out. 500,000.
He did get knocked out.
He got knocked down, but not knocked out.
Bro, he got knocked out. It was a TKO.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I meant to say like he didn't lose consciousness.
Yeah,
like in that context.
Yeah.
So let's say they tell you, Arthur, you get in the ring with Joshua. Do you know what it's like getting hit by a guy like that? It's like getting hit by a car. No, but I also don't know what it's like to have $500,000.
Or 92 million for that reason.
I'm 92 million. I don't even want to think that much. I'm just looking at, like, I'll find out.
On a lesser note, the very loudmouth Andrew Tate was also in a fight, which was very strange. And he got beat up. He got beat up real bad. And then he came out and tried to flip it by saying stuff like, it's better to take your chances and lose rather than not take them.
Yeah, but you know what's crazy about, there's actually a really cool part in that is that he lost, and then the guy he was fighting said, like, I was on the brink of
I saw that
taking my own life, and this guy like saved me from it.
Yeah, no, I saw that. But it was interesting because the whole
cool.
like build up to the fight, they were like talking about how they're going to demolish each other, but the fight was a pretty lousy fight. People are making fun of the fight.
Oh yeah,
like they were kind of hugging each other.
Did they make money off that, or
yeah,
just like random?
Tate made a lot of money on that.
Oh, there you go.
I think the other guy made like $3 million, but I think Tate made way more. People can throw the numbers in on the chat. Let us know.
Listen, while we're discussing these
Ivan
guys,
says 100% easy choice for 100 million. Yeah, not probably. I'd do that. I'm just thinking about, I guess to a certain extent, when you get beat up really bad, you just like don't feel the pain anymore because it hurts so much. It's like everything hurts.
Brother, I'd go back.
Jerome said there's something about money being the root of evil here. Surely the Bible doesn't say that money is the root of evil.
Yeah.
Jerome, that passage says the love of money leads to all kinds of evil.
Yes, which is why I'm compromising here, Jerome. I'm not saying give me 92 million. I'm saying give me 500,000, put me in the ring with Joshua, and that's not even. I'm not even being thing there like greedy. By the way, I was telling my wife about the fight yesterday, and I was trying to like pretend like I know a lot about boxing, and I was like, yeah, it's like you tend to like explain topics to your wife like more than they do about like way more than you actually do. That's just something we do sometimes.
I never talk to my wife like.
So I was talking to her, and I was like, yeah, and Joshua Aaron just fully knocked out. She's like, Joshua
Aaron is a Jewish worship leader.
She's like, Joshua, and I'm like, yeah, crazy. They have the same name. And then I looked at his name like a couple minutes later, and I saw it was something else. But I didn't have the humility to admit it. So if she's listening right now, babe, it wasn't Joshua Aaron. What's his
You
name?
know what? Your wife probably knew that you were wrong, and then she didn't want to embarrass you. She absolutely didn't want to embarrass you, and so she's like, I'll let him have this one. It's okay. He tried.
I don't know why I said Joshua Aaron.
Well, we were talking about Joshua Aaron and his Emmanuel.
That's right. I
song.
sent you. That's
Tate made 20 million, and the other guy made 3 million, which I think is like a pretty unfair, because the fight with Anthony Joshua and Paul, you okay?
I just can't believe. Never mind.
That was, I think, 92 million and like 88 million. So it was closer in regards to a payout. But I think the one with Andrew Tate is pretty unfair that Andrew Tate made 20 and the other guy made 3. At least make like, I don't know, man, like 15 and 10 or something. Like, you're doing it.
Listen.
Help the guy out, man. Set him up for life. You're already pretty good.
I'm okay with Andrew making 200. I'll take 500,000 ring with Andrew Tate.
You might be up
straight
Andrew
up.
Tate. I don't know.
No, I don't.
The way he was fighting. Serious. Your wife says, I knew it wasn't the Jewish worship leader.
He's not Jewish. He's a Messianic Jew. He's a Christian, in other words.
Yes, that's true. Would I try making my family watch me almost die for millions of dollars? Probably not. Jerome, that's because you're not old enough.
Jerome, that's
if you're old enough,
Jerome,
you'd absolutely
do you pay rent, Jerome? Do you pay rent? Do you know what it feels like to pay rent and utility bills, Jerome? I'd get knocked out every single day. If you gave me $92 million, Jerome, I would get once a year. I would go through what Jake Paul did. I get knocked out, go fix my jaw, come back knocked out.
The thing is that that sort of money is money that will change the lives of your great grandchildren. That's like, because if you're not like living lavishly and all that stuff, right? Like you invested properly and stuff like that, like you're set, man. One fight for that.
Yeah.
I mean, me and Tom can fight each other, and then we can all walk away with a hefty $50 bag for me, and maybe like $35 for Tom.
Hey, bro, I you might think I'm crazy, but I'm really liking this idea you brought up. I think if you do this, it could change the game here.
Who?
Like have some of those Dawa guys and some of the apologists actually get in the ring together.
What's his name? Muhammad Hijab would love to do this because he's been fighting MMA.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
Wes Huff. We got like that. That's who we're putting up on our side. Wes Huff and Muhammad Hijab.
Wes might take it.
I
don't know Wes's kind of grappling skills and stuff. So it's okay. Send him to Dagestan for 2 years.
Hey, man.
Forget about it.
2-3 years Dagestan. Hey, you know what? That might not be a bad idea, guys. I feel like everybody could get on board with that. Like, let's build something. We can call it like boxing and theology.
This guy said I'd get in the ring with Tyson in his prime and John Jones for $200K. You wouldn't walk out alive. Maybe this is what we do. I got it. It's solved. This will be the fight of the century.
Tell me.
David Wood, Mike Winger in the ring together. The beef will be squashed. The Dizzle versus the Winger. The Winglings versus the, I don't know what you call David Wood's followers. The Woodlings.
Yeah.
The dizziness.
I feel like.
Who do you think will win the fight?
I feel like Mike Winger would fix the fight.
Fix the fight.
I don't know. I feel like David Wood was just like there. Like he would never agree to fixing a fight. He would just go.
The thing is that David and Mike are about the same height, body type. David's heavier than Mike is.
No, David is definitely taller than Mike.
No, man.
Are you sure? I don't know,
bro. Don't underestimate Mike Winger. I'm looking at a picture. I'm looking at a picture of the two of them. I'm trying to pull it up. Brother, they're about the same height.
Are they really?
Mike's tall, man. Do you want me to pull this picture up so you can see?
Pull it up.
For those that might not believe it. For those people also who might not believe that David Wood and Mike Winger are two different people. There are theories out there. We're just asking questions, you know. It's not like we know, but you know, we kind of know. Is that how the statement went? How was it?
No, it's we know, but we don't know. Or one of them. I don't know, man. That's a pretty good statement, though. Shout out Candace. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I don't think Mike Winger and David Wood are the same height. I definitely remember David Wood being taller.
You think David Wood is taller than Mike Winger?
Man, I feel like that picture should be like real quick.
The amount of times in our lives I have to correct you.
Arthur, did you know about the Daniel HQ being in danger?
Daniel Hikakachu? What do you mean he's in danger?
Oh, I don't know.
I know that
it was
about
like a company.
34 or something like that of the Dawa guys like excommunicated Daniel Hikakachu or something like that.
Why? What's the reason?
I don't know. I don't know the details there, but I know they kind of came around it. I don't know if I want to show this. Okay, here. Are you ready, Tom? Are you ready to apologize to me?
Let's go. No, David Wood is easily 3 inches taller,
Slightly. Brother, look at the comparison. And David's got his arm around Ruslan over here. Ruslan's really happy to be standing next to...
Look at David's knee. His left knee.
No, bro, here he is pointing a gun at Mike Winger's head.
First of all,
there's real beef here.
Arthur, that church has a slope, so Mike is on a higher slope there.
Go away, bro.
Second of all, David, look at the slope that goes downhill. That's where the water goes.
They're standing on the same thing, bro.
No.
Yeah, Ruslan's a bit taller than me, but these guys, look, David's a little taller, but it's not like enough height difference where it'll make a difference. Mike and David could go into a UFC ring and fight each other.
I just searched them on a.
There's some requests coming in. Did you read the comment that I just posted?
I didn't. Let me see it. That's messed up, man. That's on my kid's birthday. This guy took me down on my kid's birthday, bro. We're not watching that.
I won't show that, but I will say
I was
this:
preoccupied.
That me and Tom were wrestling, and then I pulled. I have shown that video to my friend who was a judo champion, and he said that was a judo move I pulled up on you. He said it was really nice.
That was the Iranian leg takedown.
Yeah, I took you down.
That's true. Hey,
bro, Jerome is saying Winger was barely taller than me when I saw him. Bro, Jerome, you have a really big head to think that he was barely taller than you.
No, I think
you're a
kind of
tiny wee man, Jerome. What are you talking about?
I don't know. Mike seems to wear these like very platform shoes.
Okay, now we're going into some conspiracy.
I mean, I just sent a Facebook post.
Okay. I have a question for you guys. You're always on about logic. What's your view on the supernatural in our times? God's supernatural. So I'm going to answer this question, but then Sawa, I'm going to try to show.
Hold on, I gotta drop. My wife is yelling at me. Can I drop here?
Yeah, you can.
They've been waiting to eat food, and I've been lagging.
Yeah. My family's eaten. Guys. My food's sitting there cold.
Peace out.
See you, Tom.
Love you guys. Thank you. Bye bye.
I'll answer this question. Tom's running away because he doesn't want to answer this question, but I'll answer it for you. Okay, so I believe in the supernatural. I believe that miracles still happen. And yeah, I believe in all of that. Now, when that comes to the logic question, it's absolutely logical that supernatural things still happen. The reason why is because it's logical that God exists and God is a supernatural being and God intervenes in human history and therefore supernatural things happen. The way you're using the word logic there, I would say, is the way that it's commonly used. And that's why this question comes about. This questions come out a lot with people like, oh, it's illogical. No, it's not illogical. You're using the word logic there, your question is implying the word logic there as like, oh, that doesn't make sense. But it is not contradictory by any stretch of the imagination. It doesn't violate the laws of logic to believe that God exists and the supernatural happen. So it's very important to go from to understand these two uses of the word logic, one in the popular sense of the word, and the other one in the more kind of defined philosophical sense of the word. And so that's why there's no issues there. It's not, you can't say supernatural things are illogical because it's supernatural. No, they're not illogical. They're very logical. That's what I meant. Your friend Hatun thinks that he's going to get attacked by gangs. I wouldn't be surprised. I hope that doesn't happen. What's up, Pastor Dave? You're basically the same height as me, sir. Yeah, I know. We are. I'm not a big person. I'm not a big dude. We are wee people in front of the giants in our midst. Wood is a giant. That's because he's wide. Not at all. I'm using logic like that, actually. I know God is logical in his supernatural. Yeah, so there's absolutely zero contradictions between supernatural things and the laws of logic and logic being a thing. And I believe in that. And so does Tom, by the way. We believe in it in slightly different ways, but we both believe in it. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to head out too, guys. This has been a very, very interesting and fun. Let me check my phone for the last time before I head out. Nope, no response. Okay. With all that said, God bless you guys. Thank you for hanging out with us, all of you. Hopefully this has been informative in regards to thinking about these things properly. As they come up, as these things come up, and I suggest and think that they will, and I think Mike Winger has a point in saying that some people who are kind of trained specifically in dealing with cults and cultish kind of thinking, that we would need to respond to, not just Candace. I mean, Mike said Candace, but I would just say, generally speaking, within the right in the United States, within the politically conservative environment, to bring that to the surface. I think it would be helpful and beneficial for people. It would actually maintain our proper witness of the gospel. So you guys have a very good rest of the day. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to drop a video that has Dan Patterson responding to a comment, and then hopefully we'll drop a couple of other videos in the future. Some pre-recorded ones as well. God bless you guys. I will see you guys later. Maybe a bit more this week since it's Christmas. Take care. Remember to sanctify Christ as Lord. The ethical life is central to our apologetic. Amen. Amen and amen.